Y'all come on back. We back. Yeah, we are back. Um, yes, we back. So feel free to rejoin, or um, other people can come up. Now's the chance to come on and start a new topic or take the panel in a direction you want it to go. It's wide open. Scummy little trolls. So anyway, I know we were talking about weed and drama. I think that's the two topics that we covered. Hey, Chuck.
Damn, that was
Oh, let me
wild.
make sure. Oh, I was about to say, let me make sure it's
Yeah, that's
Chuck.
me.
I just let you on.
I
I
know.
got porn bombed, and so I ended it, and I'll go back and repost it after I clip it out. So this is the part deux.
Anti-view, or someone just being a horse's ass.
I think it's just a troll.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Childlike thinking.
There's a lot of childishness in the there, but that's been on the internet since I've been on AOL.
Oh God, AOL. Dude, I remember them days.
Were you on AOL?
Yeah, I used to be on when before AOL, when it was called the BBS,
Mm-hmm.
Bulletin Board Service. Yeah, I've been at this a long time. Until I retired, then I kind of just quit following technology.
What year was that?
Uh, what year did I get hurt? 2011.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's recent enough.
Yeah,
AIM.
after I got hurt, I had to shut down my computer business and things like that. And I just kind of couldn't keep up with it because of all the problems I was having medically.
So wait, you got hurt and had to leave the workforce,
Yeah.
but you're the one taking care of the other people in your family too.
Well, now I am. They took care of me for what, 7 years
Oh, okay.
when I was flat on my back. And I was literally crawling to the bathroom until they got me walking again with the last operation.
How long was
And
that?
then, what's that?
How long was that?
2011 to 2017.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've
Hey,
had
Dom.
about ten back surgeries.
Damn. Did they fix it?
Wow.
Well, they got me walking again. I'm as fixed as they can fix me. I got some cadaver back in me, and I got some rods and bolts and shit.
Wow.
Yeah, half my back belongs to somebody else.
Can I
It was
ask
a
you, Chuck?
mess.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you how you dealt with the pain of those surgeries and whatnot? Did they? I don't want to get. I just want to.
Well, I I put off surgeries until it got to the point where I couldn't deal with the pain anymore, where I was literally just reduced to tears
Right.
pain. And I'm like, you got to do something. If nothing else, just shoot me and get it over with, you know,
Right. Yeah.
because even the so-called pain medicine they was giving me reached a point. It didn't matter which one. It wasn't doing anything to the pain. And
Right.
yeah, so
Usually at that point, before they do surgery, before all that, they're given gabapentin, which gabapentin used to be uncontrolled. Now they're going to move it over to a controlled substance because they found out that using gabapentin for pain management actually causes seizures. Um, there's quite a few different medications that they'll try to
yep.
substitute to see if you can't. And that is what I was talking about, where the medical aspect comes in, is that if that pain can be managed by a natural source that is monitored, there is absolutely no reason to go through
Oh,
the surgery to do all. So I'm just
I
saying.
agree 100% with you on that.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking about it myself because in the during the break, I just ran outside. I had 6 ladies on the veranda. I had to secure and put them up because the sun was getting a little hot on them. So, and I'm thinking to myself, everybody goes to these nurses, these so-called, to get their medical cards. At this point, it's almost like, and I don't want to toot my own horn. I don't want to sound like, but I have more information. I have more medical knowledge than some of these people who are issuing medical cards. And that's absolutely wrong. That's the game that we were talking about.
Yes, it's just a racket. It's a racket.
Yep. It's the taxes in the state that
And
I live in. In the
and if
state that I live
people,
in. I'm sorry, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to say if the people that were getting the benefit from it medically, I have absolutely no problem with, you know. But the
Right.
ones that are going and getting these medical cards just so they can get high, it's an
Right.
Hey,
abuse
I
of
was one
the
of those,
system.
right? You talking to one right here.
Right.
Because
Those
in
are the
Seattle,
loopholes.
before recreational medical was the only system you had, it was get it off the street from a drug dealer or get it through the medical system.
And I know, well, we used to go to Disney World twice a
And it
year.
did help. It did help my PTSD. It did have mental health benefit.
Well,
I wasn't
see,
doing it for those reasons, but that
okay.
was a side benefit.
And I used to go to Disney World twice a year since '93. And they had a thing called a disability access service. And when my son was born, and it turned out he had autism, and when he got big enough, we were having issues because he couldn't take the anticipation of getting on a ride, and the weight was killing him. So, which would totally ruin the whole day. We'd have to go back to the hotel and have cool
Oh
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a great service. Well, what happened was because Disney was going on the honor system, you just go in and talk to the representative and say, look, this is what we got. No medical information, but you just describe what you got. Well, people were going in there and
Everybody
lying
had
and
autism all of a sudden.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. Exactly. So now they've ruined it to the point where almost nobody can get a disability pass anymore.
Do you have
Yeah.
to
It's a
like
shame.
provide information now to get one? Like, is there
Well,
eligibility
yeah. Now
requirements?
you talk to a customer service rep, and they got a list of standard questions. But if you're not satisfied with the answer they give you, they move you to the next level, which is a medical company,
So there's a
and
whole
they have
bureaucracy now just for people to get their disability passes at Disney.
That's the game. That's the game I was referring to. If everybody needs a medical card, nobody needs a medical card. It's one of those kind of things. If
Well, that's
we
what Seattle
well
did when they legalized it.
people
They got rid of the medical industry, and they like no one needed cards anymore. Even the medical patients could just go get it at the stores.
But I'm talking the
people were going
infrastructure.
in getting that card, and then they was advertising online to rent themselves out to families so that the families.
Because okay, I don't know if y'all know this, but we live in a capitalistic society, and
Yeah,
so
but that's
yes,
abuse of the disabled. I'm sorry.
Well,
it's capitalism.
that I agree with you.
Everything gets abused and exploited.
Well, yeah,
Come on, you
skirting the healthcare
dumbass.
system seems to be.
Are you driving?
No, I got the dog, my daughter's dog. I'm
Oh,
babysitting the dog while they're out of town. And
I thought he was talking to you, Jeff.
no, no, I'm talking. I thought I was
I'm joking.
muted.
I'm joking.
Okay, I would never.
I'm, I'm
Well, I
teasing.
might.
I'm a teaser. I like to. I start shit. I thought I
Dude,
would fit in good with you guys, but
I
I'm
don't know.
I'm
you're
So
doing
far, it seems like
okay.
you do.
Hell, I got no animosity towards anybody. Not yet.
Mm, uh, we we don't
uh,
have to bring it up.
Well, I could mention the two, but that's
Oh, I didn't
okay.
know there were. I knew at least one. So,
hey,
Well, it's
I I was
M
on for what,
M and
2 hours, and I already
J.
got my enemies. The other night I was
Yeah.
on with Jeff in the middle of the night for a couple hours, and I got my enemies. So, and
Uh oh. Who
I didn't
else?
even realize it. People
Who
talking,
else was up there?
I'm not even going to do that. I'm not
Right.
doing that. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying.
Damn.
I'm just,
He's taking the high road. We got to
I'm just
support that.
saying. I got individuals that made comments that were uninformed
Uh,
or unaware, and nobody knows me. So it's not.
exactly.
I'm not going to bring it up because it's not.
Apparently,
Eventually,
they didn't
maybe.
know me either.
Well, yeah, I got
Yeah.
called a dumb hillbilly hick this morning on another show, but I had to
You
set them
probably get that
straight.
all the time, though.
Yes, sir. And I'm not even a damn hillbilly. That's the
I
sad
know
part.
that's the thing.
That's a cultural.
Which show was it?
John Galt.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
saw
watched
Flo
them.
was
Yeah.
restreaming it. I don't know
Yeah, that
who John.
show. Boy, Flo was on the rag on that show. Woo!
It's
Woo!
crossed my path a couple of times. I take it for about 10, 15 minutes. It's
Yeah, it
too
depends.
chaotic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
one of the
depends on
drama
the
shows.
conversation you're having. And
Does anybody listen to a guy by the name of Chaotic Truth?
yes, every now and then.
He's been on here before.
He's got a
Yeah.
really good panel, and until I found this stream, I didn't
Well,
interact at all, but I'd watch
I
him.
I
Just
questioned the one guy. What's his name? Heavy set guy. Looks like with the well trimmed beard, and he's got the door behind him with the shotgun hanging on it.
Is that the racist with the mask?
the white guy
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I
the
remember him.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
he's something else.
honestly, I found myself attracted to Angel, and for
Oh,
obvious
Angel's
reasons.
a hell of a guy.
For obvious reasons, when Angel starts to talk, I just sit back and I say, "Go boy, go."
Yeah,
You say
we
what you
like
got to
Angel.
say. You know, I
Well, Angel asked me this morning if he was bothering me, and I told him, Angel, I like a lot of what you say. I said the only thing is sometimes you take too long to say it.
Well, too long for you, but
yeah,
it's a
that's not
Spur
yeah,
thing.
but it's
Yeah.
understandable. Yeah,
It's
Well, you
neurotypical
know
too long.
Angel. Don't you know Angel? Don't you, Jeff?
Yeah, I know Angel.
Okay, he's a good kid.
Hmm. I like Angel.
I don't like the yeah. You're absolutely right. I don't like the fact that when they treat him when they start making fun of his mannerisms because
Yep,
obviously
his
that's
fault.
part and parcel to the conversation. Why do you even? Yeah, those are the people that if I were going to engage in the panelverse, it
Verbal
would be
combat.
I
right.
have news for you. You're
It would be
engaging
going
in it
after
right
those
now.
guys.
Did we lose everybody else, Jeff?
Maybe they're doing intermission. But
Well, I did
I'll
apologize to Moose, so hopefully he's not mad at me.
Moose has he's had something to do.
I'm
But
gonna have
He's
to get with Moose sometime.
everybody was talking at once, and I thought somebody said Moose had done it, and I misunderstood what they said.
Moose wouldn't porn bomb the show.
No,
I wouldn't think so, not as well as I know
I mean, he's
Moose.
restreaming it to his channel.
True, true.
and I think everybody caught that, Chuck. Everybody caught that when you were saying.
Okay,
Everybody was like, no, 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 no.
yeah,
So there was no misintention. No.
and I sent him a message that
You were
it
so
was.
ready to believe.
That says a lot.
Well, I didn't know. I thought maybe somebody knew something I didn't know. You know,
Everybody knows
with
something you
It
don't
was a
know.
random troll. They show up all the time, or they show up
Yeah.
every now and then, and that's why I vet all the people that come.
have you
And
have you ever had
they looked
any of
legit,
your
and I took a risk, and I didn't get the little layout up in time.
have you ever had any of your real life friends show up that don't like you on
I don't
your
have any real
show?
life friends.
Oh,
No, I mean I've had real
okay.
life friends that like me show up. I don't have real life
Oh,
friends that
okay.
don't.
I didn't.
If they don't like me, they're not friends. They're enemies. No, I've never had any
Well,
enemies
yeah.
show up here from real life.
Okay. I've seen that happen too, and that's wild.
Oh, like if an ex or somebody shows up? No,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
I remember one day I was watching a panel, and I don't remember which show it was, and he was shit talking his ex-wife, and he was bragging how she didn't know nothing about the show and all this, and all of a sudden, boom, there she was, left him speechless.
Yeah, I imagine all kind of life drama is going to
Craziness.
get played out on this thing.
I'm just screwing around here in the background.
Yeah, I got to put this dog up. I'll be
Put
quiet
the
for a
dog
minute.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had the
Mr. B, you
ferrets.
talking about like Jesus in the toast?
Oh,
I do think we see what we wanted. I think we're it's confirmation bias. They talk about bias. Our brains are biased. It's conservative. We're biased to what our model already, what we already think is working with our model. So like when we're perceiving, we're checking our model first, and as long as that's still working, we don't really notice all the little areas where it's not corresponding.
that would be confirmation bias, correct, Jeff? Where they can
Yeah,
you,
something.
you
Yeah, I
confirm
think
what you're seeing is in your reality, that you're perceiving what you see, so it's confirmed by what you're seeing, but that doesn't necessarily make it true.
right, but then you have to know when to go beyond that and like double check, and we don't always know. Like we don't always know that there's a reason to do that. We just assume that we're seeing reality and we don't question it because there's no reason to question it. But if you want to get beyond that and you know when to do it, you can identify when it's happening. That's the hard part. Then there's ways to like check and verify and and know whether to keep that belief or adopt a new one. But that's the little step I think a lot of people don't get to.
Yeah.
Brains perceive things.
That's a little
I do
different.
know that our brain is like taking in way more data than our conscious than it can feed to our consciousness, and so there's a filtering process as well because our consciousness can only handle some, and then it puts it together like it simulates. So there's like this mass data comes in, and then the brain selects and filters, and then simulates a reality for us from that data. Um, if it's not copyrighted or there's not music on it. I got a strike the other day for some clip that I played here that had copyright stuff on it. Not a strike. I say strike. What are those takedown notices? So you can put the link, but I'll vet it and see if I want to take the risk. I already got porn bomb once today.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't heard specifically about the hollow mask illusion. So let me look that up. Hollow
Schrodinger's.
face illusion. Let's see. An optical illusion in which perception. Oh wow. Okay, here I'm gonna show it. I'll show the hollow mask at least for the audience. This thing. Because optical illusions
That's op.
themselves are all
Yeah,
about perception.
but I don't think an optical illusion. I, I, Mr. B was referring to in it. We're referring to faith, right? That we're disillusioned by what we see, and that changes our faith. I don't think that fits
Um,
an optical illusion.
I'm not sure. It started with.
The Eucharist is not an optical illusion, and we see a piece of toast. I don't believe that. I believe a piece of toast can actually be a Eucharist. It can actually be. It doesn't matter what the actual substance is. or the perception of the actual substance. It's what you believe. That's built into the belief system.
So in your mind, it would be something other than a piece of toast, even though in reality it might not be.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's what
What
the priest that's what the Catholic Church believes.
I can tell you exactly what the Catholic. I mean,
I
so many
used to
years
help
involved
the
in it, but
priest do change it. I would help him with every mass. He had this little ritual where he would change it from the little wafer into the body of Christ, and the altar boys would help him do
and
that,
see,
help set
and
it up
and
for him.
the thing that Mr. B is talking about, that if you don't believe in whatever that priest was doing with that piece of toast, then to you it's still a piece of toast. It's always going to be a piece of toast. It's never going to be a Holy Eucharist because you don't believe in whatever those words were that priest said them. I don't know what they are. They're secret to me. But that's what instills the value that the Catholics put on this piece of toast, is the fact that they believe everything else that goes along with it. So if you don't believe all that other stuff, you're just eating a piece of toast.
Yeah,
Just because the priest said some words over it doesn't mean anything to you if you're not of that belief. It's still just
True.
a piece of bread.
True.
and I was of that belief, and so when I had communion, I did believe that it was the body, and it still tastes like it still seemed like a piece of toast. There was
Toast, right?
nothing
Exactly.
physically different about the
I
No,
experience at all.
I
they're
always
all
thought it was
different.
just
There's
a
different
represent.
flavors.
I always thought it was a representation of something, not an actual
It's a mirror.
changed
It's a
item.
sacrament.
That's
It's the
that's faith.
power. Just like when they marry you, it's the power of God that sanctifies the marriage, and baptism and
No,
communion. It's a ritual that lets the power, like actual divine power, come through and
but
act upon the world.
under it all, there is no. I mean, I don't want to say there is no divine being that regulates it all. Under it all, it comes to the individual's faith. It was explained to me one time, when you get out of bed and you put your foot down on the floor, you know there's going to be a floor there. That's faith. So if somebody from that religion buys in to all the stories, all the teachings of that, all that stuff, it all adds up and it culminates into believing that that piece of toast had been manifested in some way. Now we don't understand it, we don't get it, but we do that in a ritualistic form to reaffirm the faith that we have.
Yeah,
We say, I don't know how it did it, but God turned this piece of toast into bread. I mean, this bread into the body. It's not a body. Funny story. I always thought when I was a little kid, I was, oh, this is the body of Christ, the body of Christ. I thought to myself, man, 2,000 years and they still got little pieces of him laying around.
and that's what the priest says when he
Seriously,
gives
when
it
I
to
was
you.
like 6, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he tells you, he hands it to you, and he says, "The body of Christ." And
But
if you
if you're
drink the
not of that
wine,
faith,
because not every church gives them the wine, but the ones that do, he'll say the blood of Christ, and
the
then you
wine
drink the
is a
wine.
touchy subject too, because under the old traditional form, you received both under both, but because when it came to America and they Americanized the faith, that's when they put it in your hands. Before that, you were never allowed to even touch the host. In most countries, in fact, in all countries except for America, America is the only country that got a dispensation from the Pope back right after Vatican II to allow communion in the hands. And obviously, communion in the
So
hands
that
with
was a new thing.
Oh,
that
I
was a new thing.
remember. I remember watching old
The
footage
Pope Mobile.
The
on
Pope Mobile.
where the priest actually placed it in their mouth and held the shallot, the
That
cup.
was the way it
Well,
was for 2,000 years until Vatican II decided to allow just America, not the other countries, just America, to allow them to do what they want. They said, bishops, you guys have the rights to
that's base.
change.
That's very appropriate for America. They did the right thing. When I was an altar boy, the default was we had this little like tray thing on a pole, and you would stick it under people's chin to catch the host
Yep,
in case it fell. And the priest
Ciborium.
would place it on the tongue, and
Yep.
the old ladies would go up there with their tongue open, and the priest would place it on the tongue. But people had the option to take it in their hand. So if somebody showed
Right,
up with their hand like this, then you didn't use the tray, and the
right,
priest would just give it to them in their hand, and then they would put it in their mouth. And most people took it in the mouth, but every now and then you got a person that wanted it in the hand. It
right,
was no big deal. Like we
right.
just did whatever
I,
that
I
person wanted.
remember a church I went to one time, and you know how they would pass the offering plate,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but before they passed it, they said, "If you got something, put it in. If you need something, take it out. Just don't be greedy."
I don't know
Oh.
about all that.
So you could make change.
That was way
Well,
before
no,
my
no.
time.
If you needed $10 to go get some milk and bread, you were welcome to take the $10 out of the plate.
Wow.
That's a
That's
very
cool.
trusting church. I don't know if that would work everywhere.
Right, right. But I thought that was a unique way to do it. And no, it wouldn't work this day and
Like
age.
I
That
know. What do
plate,
you do if the plate comes back empty at the end?
Empty. You send
exactly.
it
It
back
would tell.
around again.
Hell,
But I'll put
this
all
day and
that back
age,
here.
this day and age, you wouldn't even get the plate back.
I know.
What was that?
The
What movie was that? Is it Coming to America? No, there was a movie when in the scene and somebody put an IOU in the plate.
Oh,
I've done that. I've
you
done
put an
that.
IOU in the
Uh
basket.
huh.
In the collection plate.
Yeah, but I made
Hey,
good on it.
Like,
well,
what did it have on it? Your name and like, if I don't pay you, come and get
Well,
collect here.
my name, and the amount,
Why
so he
would
knew.
why not just wait until you have the money and throw it
What's
in next
that?
week?
I don't know. I just felt like that was the thing to do.
Oh, okay.
hey, I bet you felt good to do it. So I'm not going to judge on that. If it
Now,
made
had
you
I
feel
not,
good to do it and you made good on it and you were honest, hey,
now
I
had I
always like
not
put.
followed through, I would have been a schmuck, in my opinion.
and in my book
That would
too.
have been a sin. You would probably ended up somewhere very hot.
Oh, I've done enough sinning. I don't want no more.
Our parents would give us money, like they'd give us each $1 or two
Yep.
ahead of time. So when the basket came around for us to put it was fun. It was like, oh, the basket's coming. We get to put the money in now.
We used to take my mom. It was my mom, my wife, my son, and myself would go to mass, and my mom would always sit with the older ladies, so they all sat around too. And since he was the youngest in the whole, they all gave him the envelopes to put in when it came time. And when he was 6, 7, 8, he thought he'd go around collecting them. Well, I'm get the. Then when he got to be about 12, 13, 14, they start handing him. I'm too big for this. And I'm like, yeah, but you bought into it, man. These old ladies, they need you now. They don't know how to put it in anymore. He's okay. So,
Uh,
so he, so he continued that, for that purpose.
he got
And
trained. He got
hey, man,
socialized, conditioned.
it was the same
That's the
way when he
programming.
and he was the same. It was the same way, Jeff. When I introduced him to serving, he was terrified. He just could not public, and I used that as a tool to tell him nobody in here cares about what you're doing. Everybody
Exactly.
is here for one reason and one reason alone, and it's not you. They're watching you help. They're watching you be part of this, and you should be proud of that.
This community,
And
yep.
right, and once he kind of got it, like this is my job, then it wasn't so scary to just walk around in public. He didn't have to say anything; he just carried things. But for him on the spectrum was a huge accomplishment when he got to the point where he was about 13, 14, and Dad, we got to get going. Mass is starting. I got to go. I got to this and that. And it was like, yes, you do, son.
My
And
son's,
so we use
yeah,
that as a process for him to, which, if you were there for for my last appear, you understand why I have so much animosity, towards the church right now. But it definitely helped him.
my
Maybe he
son,
didn't
my
buy into the teachings, but it definitely helped him in other areas.
my
I'd say
son's
it
got
helped me too.
autism, and we go out to eat, and he always saw me go up to pay. Well, one day he asked if he could go pay it, and all
Wow.
I had on me was hundreds, so I gave him $100 bill, And he goes up and pays for it and comes back. And I said, "Where's my change?" He said, "Aren't we supposed to tip him?" I said, "Well, yeah, that's fine." He said, "Well, I just gave him the rest as a tip, like $45 tip."
You didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
He knows better now.
Oh, did he know change at the time? Like, did he know what all that was?
Yeah, but he just knew you were supposed to tip. But he, at the time, he really didn't have concept
Yeah.
of the value of the money.
I got in
Oh,
trouble too as a kid because we were at a fast food place and my mom gave me $1 to go get a Coke and it was like 90 cents, so there was a dime. And I just left
Mm-hmm.
it on the counter for the lady thinking it was a tip. And I
Mm-hmm.
like, got back to the table and I didn't have her dime. And she started scolding me like, "You don't tip at fast food restaurants."
Oh
Like, oh my
boy.
God, I thought I was doing a good thing. Why are you yelling at me?
yeah.
Holy
Well, one of the
cow.
indications with my son that we knew he was on the spectrum when we would go out to eat, he would eat with us. He wouldn't order. We would order for him. Oh, okay.
Right.
But inevitably, before everyone was finished, he would excuse himself from the table to go to the bathroom. And he was old enough to go to the bathroom by himself at this point.
Right.
He would go to the bathroom, get sick. I didn't know he was getting sick. I just thought he was using the bathroom. Get sick
Right.
and then come back out and sit down with everybody else. Until one day, after about 4 or 5 times, I followed him in the bathroom. Are you okay? Is there something wrong? Blah. I'm like, dude, you don't have to even eat if you don't want to.
Was it
This is a
nerves?
social. It was the social aspect of sitting
Yep.
around
Yep.
with a bunch of
Yep.
people, and he felt like he was forced to interact with everybody. I told him, just sit there, man. You ain't got to do anything. But that
Yep.
was his. Once we got over that, him getting sick in the restaurants, that was a huge accomplishment.
Yep. Well, that's like we go out to eat, and if it's empty, my son does fine. But once the restaurant starts filling up, you can watch the expression leave his face. So then I know it's time. I
Yep.
let him go out to the car, and we always keep his tablet there as a diversion. And so he gets to go to the car while we finish up.
Oh my God. I was constantly going to the car when I was a kid. And they'd let
His
me take the
senses,
keys and turn the
yep,
radio on the
Nope.
battery and
Nope.
listen
yep,
to
I
it.
drew.
yep.
I drew the line. I drew the line at that one. I drew the line at
His
that one.
his senses
Mine
couldn't
was
take it.
just like restlessness and bored. Like I couldn't shop or do whatever the grown-ups were doing anymore. And they would
Well,
give me the keys and say, "Here, go sit in the car, listen to the
his
radio."
hearing is super sensitive. I can be in the basement and he can be on the third floor of the house, and he'll come down and tell me what I said. And it's like, dude, that's why it bothers him when a large crowd causes the noise. It's super
Oh,
amplified.
cause he has like super hearing.
Yes, because of the type of spectrum he's on.
Yeah.
Jeff, I was going to ask you about is that I've noticed over the last couple of years. Now that I'm not in the that the ear headphones wear, it seems to be a trend for. Does it help everyone on the spectrum, or if I see somebody in public, am I just to assume that they're audibly sensitive and not just any other? Is it just for audible? Is it for everything?
You mean if they have headphones on?
Right, because I've never seen that in
Oh, my
They
public
have
son,
before.
these like noise canceling headphones now, which I don't have the auditory issues, so but the ones that do, they have these noise canceling headphones
yes,
that
I
seem to
got a
help
pair of
some of
those.
them.
I got
And so
those.
they'll wear that. It's not for music. They'll just wear it on their ears to
So
cut down on
it's
the amount of noise, like
tones
muffle
everything
the amount
down.
of noise around them.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I
Okay.
got the ones that completely block out anything.
When I see headphones, I assume I'm dealing with an introvert. They may or may not be on the spectrum, but they don't want to be bothered by people. They don't want to interface with people, and it's their way of like staying in their bubble and telling the world to leave them alone. And so I just leave them alone when I see headphones, unless they
That's
initiate something with me.
that's good advice.
But that's probably from living in Seattle, where that's what everybody is.
I'm just now. Well, I'm in the Midwest, so I'm just now seeing them on a regular basis in public. Where you go to the mall and you'll see at least one or two. Where I never
Oh, here it's
a
like
couple
half the
years ago.
mall.
Yeah, see, I've never, it's new to me, so I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
know
think it's
Audible was the one thing that would trigger my son too, but it wasn't the noise level, and it wasn't the he couldn't discern between certain noises. He couldn't, like I used the example of the oven timer. When he heard the oven timer, if it didn't get turned off within a few seconds, he would just he would what do you guys say? He would spurg out. He would have a breakdown. Why are you not stopping that noise, that repetitive noise? And we never could understand exactly what it didn't even it just had to be a repetitive noise that would irritate him. And obviously once we recognize that, that's easy to solve. But that was the only auditory that I've ever experienced.
yeah. That shows up a lot too. The sensory stuff.
We would have that tornado that because we lived out in the country, so we would have that. And I know the tornadoes would scare him, but then he would have the same reaction with anything else. It was the same. It was the I think it was the alert signal that really triggered him. But it could happen. The tornado sirens will go off at 10:30 on a Tuesday, and if he heard them, he'd freak out. If he didn't hear them, he'd forget about it. And I tell him every single time, those are the 10:30 sirens on a Tuesday. Those are every week. You don't hear them every Tuesday because you're not out every Tuesday. Because right away he'd go to, this is it. They're bombing us. They're bombing. No, no, that's a regular scheduled sound that we hear. And once he got it and understood it, then it was okay.
I know up here, sometimes like for holidays, some autistic people will make a thing about the fireworks, or some parents will. They'll do it with their pets too, the dogs and the autistic kids.
Oh,
Like the Karens will go online and say, "Why do you have to do fireworks this year? Think of all the pets that are being traumatized and the autistic kids." And to me, if you know once or twice a year there's going to be fireworks, you can plan for something for that hour. So
Yep,
they rarely even
yep.
last an
absolutely.
hour. Instead of having the whole rest of the community not have their fireworks because of some dogs and a few autistic kids.
Are you kidding me? I
Blame
had
the kid. Blame the
I,
kid.
a
Yep.
12-year old kid and a pack of firecrackers is a learning experience. That's what, especially for somebody. He was terrified of fire, terrified of all this other. But hey, man, see what I'm doing? I'm lighting this with fire and I'm making a bunch of noises. Does that bother you? No, I want to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Here you go. Another learning experience. He got over the auditory part because it was those fire explosions. Of course, I had a pit
Stick.
bull that would chase after
Yeah.
and shit too. So
A stick of dynamite does wonders.
well,
I hated firecrackers growing up because they were noisy, but I liked them too. We did them all the time. They were fun. We loved like
right.
firecrackers, but I hated them at the same time.
You loved it when you were doing it, not when others are doing
I
it.
couldn't imagine not doing it, but at the same time, I hate hearing firecracker. That's not a pleasant sound for me. So, but all the non-firecracker fireworks were always better than the firecrackers. So the firecrackers when there wasn't something else more
Oh
cool
yeah.
around, like a smoke bomb,
Oh yeah.
a sparkler, a cone, a parachute, something like that. So the
Fountain. That was
fireworkers
a
were like
big
the
thing.
default, but we would like break them and like pour out the gunpowder and like pour bunch of gunpowder out and light it and watch it spark, like make
That's
sparks.
a Gen X thing.
Is it?
We used to do that same. Yeah, we used to open up the
Yeah,
M80s
you could
and carry
unroll the
bombs and
firecracker and pour
make our
out the
own shit.
powder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a kid take a mayonnaise jar and take firecrackers. He was filling it with gunpowder, nails, and broken glass. He was trying
Wow.
to make a bomb, and
All
he
right. Well,
succeeded.
that's
He
A, we
succeeded.
never knew we could do that, and B, we would never have had the patience for that.
no.
His
We could
dad
do
came
about
out.
4 or 5 little firecrackers that we were ready to light.
His dad came out to see what the hell he was doing. About the time it exploded and took out both his kneecaps.
Yeah. That's
How
Yeah,
old
it
was
was
he?
bad. The kid was about 10.
Yeah.
But his
No, I
dad,
was, and I
I
was
yeah,
just
mean,
his
gonna,
dad,
I was just
eh,
gonna go. Remember the days when you didn't even have a cap gun, but you had a rock and a strip of caps? You just sit
yep,
there and just bang
what's
on
a
this.
cap? Oh yeah, you would bang the yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
we
we would do it
because
all the time.
you could get those rolls, and you put
They
it
were
in the
red
cap
and they had
gun.
the little like brown
uh-huh,
circ dots on them of
Right,
gunpowder. You'd sit there with a rock and you could bang them. It was
yep,
right,
like
right.
popping bubble wrap.
Could you
yep.
imagine selling that stuff now?
They
I
don't
mean,
have that. What about those little things you throw on the ground and they make
those
noise?
they have.
They
Those they
still,
have.
they still poppers.
That
They're
uh,
called poppers.
Yeah,
They
that's what I
still have
started.
those.
That's what I started him on was those poppers, and
things
he
that go
got
boom.
yeah he got used to the pop of the
Speaking of
poppers.
things that go boom, I'm gonna call not today. I think I like the way the vibe's going, and I don't know what your issue with my channel is lately, but you could tell me off stream. I don't want to bump this conversation for that one, so I'm gonna say no for today.
What?
All right, go ahead.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, somebody in the back. Just I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
I don't always realize that y'all get that.
Yeah, but absolutely supervision.
Well,
There's somebody.
a lot of my friends look back at our generation and like, how did we survive? And I look back at my life and ask the same thing. And that's one justification they use for why things have gone in the opposite direction so drastically with the safetyism, is because
I
we
know
were the
who.
generation that did look back at all the risks we take and were horrified.
Hey, was that Tommy backstage, by the way?
Yeah, but I want to
I,
just stay on this topic
I
because
Oh,
think
I
it
get
okay,
was.
derailed by the drama stuff.
I think it
okay.
was Jordan Peterson. Was it either Jordan Peterson, somebody like that? But they mentioned that the be a good parent allows children to take calculated risks that but that is where we learn. That's where we learned, anyways, as Gen X. We learned, okay, you jump off this ramp, this rickety ass ramp on your bike without a helmet, you're going to crack your head. You're not going to do that again. And you're not going to do it after you see somebody else do it. So that poor schmuck that did it the first time was a lesson to everyone else. And we were smart enough to realize, okay, wait a minute, we got to build this ramp better. We got to do something. We got to make our bike
Yeah,
strong. We had to change our behavior to avoid those simple risks. That's not being allowed today. That's my
I
issue.
think a lot of people looked at that and said, I don't want my kids falling off of ramps. How can I make things safer so they can just play and not get hurt? And
Outlaw ramps.
that would not have worked for us. In
No.
fact, there were some houses where like the parents were a little more strict and you couldn't do as much, and nobody went to the, like nobody hung out at those people's house. They all came. Ours was the house everybody hung out at because you could do all the risky stuff. Like we didn't stay in environments where people tried to restrain our level of risk.
Ours
Hey,
was the
go.
house. Ours was the house that said, "What time is it? 9 in the morning? Okay, you be back here when the street lights come on. Go get lost."
We didn't
Oh,
even have a curfew. We came and
let me
went. It was an
clear this.
open door. We came and went wherever we
Oh
pleased. We could
no, we
walk
had
out
the
at three
street
in the
lights.
morning.
We had
Nobody
the
would
street
say anything.
lights. That was
Let
the
me
line.
clear this up for Colt. His dad came out to see what he was doing about the
Uh,
time that the homemade mayonnaise jar thing went off, and his dad's kneecap, not the kid, but the dad got the damage.
Oh, the dad did.
Yeah, not the kid,
Ooh,
the
ooh,
dad.
ooh.
well, now I don't feel
Yeah,
so bad. I'm
he
sorry
was
That's
to
a
in
say
the.
that, but
father-son relationship. I'd like to.
He was in the. It took a while for him to get his knees fixed. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, we did do reckless, and I knew kids that did stuff like Chuck Scott way more reckless than us, but we didn't really play with those kids. I guess we were like the middle level of risk. We knew not to do the really stupid stuff, but we didn't completely play it safe and stay in the lines either.
that's the logos.
It's sacrificing fun for safety, and we wanted the fun, the experience. We wanted to be able to say we did that thing, and
It's risk
so
man.
if it was too risky, if sometimes the ballots like lean towards safety, and I was
Yeah,
much
like
riskier because I was not aware of
like
my
when you get a
surroundings a lot of times. So I was
6 foot
always
spear in the
putting
neck.
myself in situations that normal people would never have.
But
I
over
ended up going to
time,
the hospital one time. I ended up with a 6-foot wooden spear in my neck.
Okay, I want to. This is a Chuck story I've not heard.
Abandoned house. Kids were up there peeling because the roofing was already gone. So you know how when plywood gets wet, it separates. Well, the bigger kids were up there tearing pieces off and throwing them like spears off the roof. And I happened to be riding by on my bike one day at the exact time and caught one in the neck. Yeah,
How old
eighth
were
of an.
you?
I was about 12. It was an eighth of an inch from my jugular vein. My dad took me in with this big ass board sticking out of my neck. It was the strangest thing they had ever seen. Yeah, it was wild.
Somebody needs to do your memoirs. I'm serious.
Oh, I've lived a
You're
wild,
like
full
the
life. Trust
unsung
me.
action hero.
It just when
Like,
you guys were talking about some of that kid stuff, it brought that memory back. I see a lot of things from
because there's
childhood.
so many other memories to crowd it out
Well,
that it had to be brought
I
back.
can't remember a lot of my childhood for some reason. I have trouble.
Well,
And I don't know if it's from when I had my stroke or if, but it's been that way as far back as I can remember. Like childhood almost was non existent until little pieces come back to light, like what you guys when we're just talking. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, I
no,
don't. I'm glad you did.
I was
First
just
of
going to
all, I
mention
don't think you
the
interrupted.
fact of the fact that those guardrails are now cemented into these kids' lives where it's not even
Yeah, it's a
guardrails, they're
it's a
bumper
different
cars.
psychology.
They're bumper cars. And if when and then they hope that once they get through school and where they're in their bumper cars and their bubble wrap, that all of a sudden now they're thrown onto the interstate,
Yep.
And then they
they're
meet
at
people
left.
like us,
Right, they're left at the mercy, who don't give a shit. Right, exactly.
right? And we become
You didn't have
like toxic and scary and yell and aggressive. And I know we're just being ourselves. You're just raised to a different standard.
right, and all Chuck's experiences have led up to who Chuck is, and without those experiences,
That's true.
these new kids are not going to have that foundation of mishaps,
But
and
I don't think anyone's playing outside anymore anyway. Like the kids are
not at
being
all.
raised to live indoors in front of screens. So like
Yep,
all the
yep,
risk
yep.
now are indoor risk
Oh, wait
and
a minute, wait. It's
social
not
media
just
risk.
kids. It's not just kids. Go outside and just look at people. What are they doing? They constantly got the device in their face. Grown people doing that,
Yeah.
just like the kids
Yeah,
do.
I'm not kidding. I have sat in Starbucks in Seattle and watched two people come in and meet each other at Starbucks and get their coffee and go find a table and then set up their laptops in front of each other and type on the laptops to each other while they're drinking their coffee. Like they don't even have
Oh,
face-to-face conversation.
See,
Charlene
and that's
Fools, how
why
you doing?
when you guys mentioned about the car, being that I couldn't get down with that because in my opinion, that's cutting corners. That's avoiding a situation. I always, if my son was um, offset by the social environment, then okay, let's go off to the side, you and me. Let's talk about this. What is it? But he was my only focus. He was 100%. So but
Yep.
I understood that it was better to face those kind of fears than to just give him some car keys. Say, hey, go do your own thing someplace else. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that was my approach to the situation. Is let's talk about it. Let's see. Well, what is so scary? What is it that you're fearing? What is it? We could sit here in the corner together and look out at and that was more beneficial than just saying go find your private space. But that's
I,
just how I
I,
did it.
yeah, I remember growing up. Another memory you brought up was
Oh shit.
kids
I'm
would come.
sorry.
I
Oh,
love this.
kids would come around to the house at dinner time or supper time. My mom and dad would always feed them, whether outside or inside. And after I got old enough, I asked. why they did that. Because when they were raised, the kids had to stand outside the screen door until the parents finished eating, then they were allowed to eat.
Wow, that sounds like some regional
That's
Weird.
stuff.
southern. That's some
Yeah.
old southern stuff.
Now,
But
and
go ahead.
my family's tradition is whoever comes into your house gets a plate, and they get the fullest plate that you have, whether it's a child or not. You just that was just I was brought up. I learned from my grandmother when company came. She had a cake set in the corner that she would bake, and it would sit there for company. It was like,
Just for
Grandma, take a piece of cake. No,
Yep,
no, no.
yep, yep,
Somebody
yep.
might be coming
yeah, we
over,
feed everybody.
and when they came over, that's when the cake came out. Or by the end of the week when it started, okay, you can have a piece now. But that's where my values came from as far as no, everybody gets a seat at the table for sure.
Yeah,
If I don't offer you a
that's
seat at my
inclusion.
table, you know. In fact,
Amen.
I told my son-in-law. Well, he's not my son, but I told him the same thing. He said, "Well, I just want to. I don't want to disrespect you." I said, "Listen, if I invite you to sit at my table, that's carte blanche. If I ask you to leave before dinner, then you know what time it is. That's all. Simple, really. But,
Mhm.
but that was when I was being hard ass dad. Daughter protect.
That's one of the roles, though. Like provide, protect, preside. For
And
men, at
that's
least in the traditional model of the family.
and we and the, I've always realized that we never do the opposite, the yin and the yang. In other words, I could have been a hard ass to a boyfriend just to establish my dominance and whatever, but actually I did it to show my daughter that she should be treated in a certain way. I never did anything. I would never ask him to leave and not give him a seat at my table, but everybody in the room knew my intentions and knew that this seat at my table was important and you have to earn it. And just that simple gesture was enough for him to go, "Oh shit, this guy's serious." you know. But
Yeah.
but now they're on their own. They're doing good. I don't see them too much anymore, but
It's just you and your wife now.
yeah.
Don't worry, they'll be back. Trust me.
Oh.
Well, I've got. You know what? I wish they would, but my ex-wife. The problem is my ex-wife has a place in Arizona with a pool and a cabana and
Ah,
a guest house, and
Oh, so they
so
might not be.
when I've
there you
tried,
go.
can I get the grandkids for a week? How about sending them? Oh no, they're going to Mima's out in for 2 weeks out there. Oh yeah, of course. Okay, whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. But I understand. I understand. Go where the money is. You got to. But yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. I'll probably have a relationship with my grandkids that it's better than my kids.
Well, I
And the
can
only
rent you
reason
some of my grandkids if you need some.
How many you have, Chuck?
One, two, three, four, five, maybe six.
Okay.
I got. Let me see. Let me count the board. One, Leah, Bear. 1, 2, 3,
That I
4,
know
5,
of.
6,
That I
7.
know
I got
of.
8. I got 8.
How old are you?
Me, 55.
Okay,
Oh. Okay. I
you're
thought you were
younger than
younger.
I
I
thought.
thought I was. I thought I was older. Yeah. So Chuck's still the elder, but then so you're.
I'm still
I
the
It's
older
rare.
started.
one.
It's rare I get people older than me on here, so it stands out when they show up.
My
I
mistake
I
was
enjoy
starting
your
so early.
channel.
I uh, I got hooked up with a lady when I was probably well. Let's put it this way. She was I had my son before I was 20. I was married at 21. I had my son directly after that.
But that's not so
So
strange back then.
I
Those
was
times.
married at 20, had my first
uh,
one at 23,
you're
22.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It wasn't strange because it was a church wedding. It was a tuxedo thing.
Mm.
It was a bridesmaids. It was the old fat. It was the a little. This is where the city meets the Hicks because she was in a kind of a rural area. 40,000 people tops. And my parents coming from the big city, and they wanted to. It's tradition in our family that the groom's parents pick up the bar tab. They pay for the bar, and the bride's family pays for the reception and whatever. Okay, fine. So they go down there to set up the bar, and they're like, "We just want to pay." What do you mean? You want to buy at a bar? No, 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 no. We want to have an open bar. We pay for the bar tab. Well, we've never had that before. Like what? So they had to do some kind of crazy system where we can buy so many bottles and then we'll have a keg on the side and they came to me and they're like, who the hell are you marrying? What is they don't even understand, how to run a
Ooh,
bar.
I can already relate.
So that was the beginning of my first marriage. And I had two with her, 91 and 95 were the years. And then I got the opportunity to take the job with the county, and it was afforded to me. And I said, I got to go. And she, yeah, sure. She was intended to move with me to take the job. And 2 years afterwards, she was still teaching, and hadn't put her 2 weeks in, and she's still dicking around. And I'm like, I got to go. I got to move. If you're not coming here, they're 2.5 hours away. I was and then once we divorced, I had custody every 2 weeks. I would leave where I am in the middle of the city, drive 2.5 hours to pick up my kids, and drive another 2 hours back home so I can have them for the weekend just to take them back on Sunday. That's what I did for my kids who are no longer around anymore. I
Wow.
mean, not around, meaning they've moved on, their life is. So it was like the shit that we did back in the day to pacifies a divorce. And nowadays, it's just like, okay, I had him by that chick and she's gone and they're out, and I can't, you know. I'm gonna stop because I'm starting to get worked up.
No, you good. I think you took the right path. It's a path that many people don't take.
So, but then I met my wife, your current wife, and it was best friends from the start. It was just like, you want to do this? Oh, it was the craziest part was when we finally put our DVD collection. Well, we had VHS tapes at that. We put our VHS tapes together. We only had maybe 10 or 15 a piece. If you put them on the shelf, and there was like half of them were duplicates.
Oh yeah, and
And I
that's how me
remember
and my
sitting
ex
there
were.
looking at it,
I
and I'm
know
like,
that's scary.
Slapshot. I mean, the movies were like Slapshot, a hockey movie, a niche hockey movie. There were just niche movies that no one else could enjoy. I mean, Rocky Horror. Who else? What's the odds of two people having Rocky? Yeah, okay, yeah. But it was just ironic. And at that point, I knew that this was a friendship and not just a relationship that was going to satisfy a need, you know. So I was lucky in that sense,
Is that the person you still with?
which is exactly why I'm still with this person. I vowed, after everything happened, I know the rate. I know the. Everybody tells you, oh, you know the divorce rate. Of course I do. But that was one thing I vowed that it's not going to affect. So I'm in it for the long haul, regardless of what our shit ends up like. You know. No, I'm
That.
serious. I take care of her. But,
Yeah, it
so
sounds like
yeah,
you're a good dad and a good husband.
so that's why I came in like a wrecking ball that day. It's a culmination of the frustration and not being able to vent and not being able to be. When I found your stream, that Jeff, it was like Gen X, boom, everything you say, and I don't want to sound like I'm, you know, it's a generational thing. It is.
I really think it is. And
Jeff, you and I would never have been friends if we were. I don't really want to say that like that, but if we were on the same block, I guarantee you we had different interests.
I was telling somebody that the other day that the Panelverse is bringing together. If the Panelverse lived in one city together, and we didn't have this, none of us would ever interact. Like I would never in my
Thank
day-to-day
you.
life talk to any
Thank
of
you.
these people, interact with them, and it's bringing people together that would never find each other.
Thank you.
Hey, is that
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
just
Dominus, how old are you?
me 55.
Oh, okay, so you got me beat by like what?
Oh,
Few
I'm
months?
finally I'm the young one.
You got me beat by 2 months.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
my birthday's in March, so
Oh,
I got a
I
minute
bow to my elders.
to hit 56. You know, I was just thinking though the other day. You know what's hard when you get to this age because you are the in between. I've got a mom who's still, she's 83, and thankfully she still, manages herself. And I mean, I'm going over there in another hour to make sure everything's fine. But she's we're that I tried to tell her, I'm like, Mom, you still have a phone attached to the wall? Who does that? You got to get rid of that. No,
well,
no. If the battery goes out on my cell phone, I can
Hmm.
still use that.
It's
Okay, fine.
well,
she's
I go
secure
through the
with it.
same fucking thing, man. I keep saying, why do we need a landline when you have a cell phone? Learn how to
Right,
use a cell phone. You know?
right. And then I had kids who bring in this thing called Xbox, which is it's a precursor to what we're doing here. When I talk about getting bombed, I mean, there were, you hear what's going on in the other room, and it's like there's a huge party going on. Who is all these people that are talking? And you go in there, and it's like just one person with, playing a game, and that's when
Oh,
I
so
realized,
people would talk to other people while they would play games?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, wow, that was kind of like a precursor.
No, my son would sit. No, he would sit on Xbox for hours, and he had, and again for those on the spectrum, it was because he could talk because he was comfortable. It was an avatar. It was so he would have conversations, and I would just sit here and listen, and just listen to what he's saying. And there was a few times I'd go in there and be like, "Hey, drop the f bombs, please." I mean, you don't f everything doesn't work. Come on now. And they'd hear me in the
He might have
background.
been meeting other spur. Like I
He
think a lot of autistic people were meeting their peers on these video
absolutely,
networks. I'm
and
serious.
he would the kids would start giving him a hard time because he had it on speaker. I made him put it on speaker so that everybody could hear, and they were like, "Hey, Lux just got busted." Shut up! You were fucking around too, and they're like, "Oh yeah, but you're the one." And so it would turn into he understood that I did not appreciate that kind of language just being spurted out, but he also understood that being busted is not a bad thing. It's a social interaction that we can all laugh about it. Yeah, you're not supposed to use the F word on every. Just tone it down a bit. Oh, you got busted. All right, yeah, fine, okay, whatever. And it just worked. It was a way for him to interact freely, but yet still was a way for me to kind of conform his behavior, his social behavior.
Well, as long as he was afraid of getting caught and it wasn't like no big deal, you know?
But I mean,
Because otherwise he didn't learn a lesson. I mean, if you enforced, the fear of God into him and then he thought, oh shit, I really
What is
shouldn't do
that?
that because I'll get fucked up.
no,
You know?
there's no fear of God. No,
That didn't work on us.
it was a situational awareness test, is what it was. It was.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with verbal language. I don't have a problem with anybody expressing themselves. Trust me. After 20 years of working where I work, I can verbally express my emotions very well with graphic language.
Why do you
But
hate
you have to.
black people so much, though?
I'm sorry.
Why do you hate black people so much?
I do.
You
You
do.
do?
I do. I'm
You
asking
do.
you. I
Well,
do.
No, you just said you do, so I'm assuming.
you do too, though.
No, I
When did I
don't.
say I hated
Yes, you
black
do.
people?
I don't hate black people at all.
Washington State says that you do.
They're some of my best friends, according to
Well, not
Washington
according to
State.
the state of Washington. You're a white supremacist.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you, Dominus. I know you don't
No,
hate
I
black.
hear you. I hear you. I mean, the fact that the community I live in is 98% black should tell you
Doesn't
enough.
matter. It's still racist.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could be
Exactly.
black. I have no idea, really.
Doesn't
True.
matter. Still
Doesn't
racist.
matter.
In fact, I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "Doesn't matter, still racist."
That's a good one. I saw. Anybody watch Smoke and Scan?
No.
Who smoke what?
There's a channel called Smoke and Scan, and what they do is they do police chases and whatever, and they partakes. We enjoy, we do, and it covers stuff like that. Well, anyways, he's got a collection of T-shirts that he pulls out every so often, and my favorite. I told my wife I got to get it. It's a black shirt with big white letters that "Who ate all the pussy." I'm like, that's my shirt right there. That's my shirt right there. Who the hell ate all the pussy? But that's just a personal taste, I guess. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Not to be rude, but Jeff doesn't partake in that.
That's okay. I could appreciate the joke. I could replace it with other things.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I
You have anything going on today, Zach?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. No, that's fine.
No, I didn't have
go
nothing
ahead.
to say. I didn't have nothing to say.
I'm going to the grocery store to get bacon and maybe cheese because I'm gonna make fucking
That sounds so good.
tuna melts.
It's bacon!
You might have inspired me.
Yeah, for
I
what?
gotta go out
All I
later.
said was bacon.
I know. Then I thought of a bacon sandwich with
Trigger.
the lettuce, the
Trigger.
cool lettuce, the tomato, the toasted bread, and I'm thinking I
Oh.
could pull that off. I
Yeah,
think.
but here's what you do, man. You get tuna fish and you mix it with mayonnaise.
No, no, bacon and tuna. Get out of here.
Oh.
Nope.
What do you mean? You got a Celtic horse as your avatar, and you don't
Not a
eat
horse.
It's a
fish?
boar.
It's a boar. It's bacon. But no, Jeff, you want a BLT? There's nothing like having a BLT with a fresh tomato right out of the garden. Slice that
I
baby right up.
know. Oh,
You go to the
God,
bakery,
I
get yourself a
know.
fresh loaf of bread, still piping hot. Put a smear of mayonnaise over the top of that.
Smear? Are you Jewish?
Y'all gotta stop. I'm gonna end this
Trigger.
stream soon.
But
I haven't eaten yet.
That's my summertime. That's my summertime pleasure. Is a fresh
I
BLT.
think that's what I'm gonna have today.
It's a very light dinner, though. I mean, don't you want
I
something?
know that's the only thing. Yeah, it
Substance?
is.
You gotta have substance, man. You gotta fill that belly. Stick to your ribs. You know.
Man. I've lost so much weight over the last few years. I've lost over 100 pounds. I call it my playing weight. When I was working, I've lost almost 100 pounds since I was working.
Dude, you could make an Italian delicacy, carbonara, so easily. All you need to do is buy
Does it
pancetta.
involve a stove?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No.
I want you to conserve your energy. So.
But
no, you can tell the viewer. Go ahead, though. I'm just
no.
kidding.
I honestly, I never understood how easy it was to make, or I would have been having it for the last 30.
All right, tell it to me.
You take either it's called guanciale, which is the pig's cheek, or you get pancetta, which is like a higher form of bacon.
I'll do that.
And you put that in a frying pan, and you just let it cook until all the fat comes out of it.
Like you would fry bacon.
Yeah, you brown it. You brown it, and then you mix. Well, you cook spaghetti just like you normally would, which is just boiling water and putting the
that
spaghetti.
I can do. Right, that's the one thing I can pull off.
And then you get pecorino romano cheese, and you mix it with a couple eggs. You just mix it up, and that makes
Raw?
like a sauce.
You just crack 2 eggs?
Yeah, raw. You just scramble them all in there together with the pecorino romano cheese.
in the pancetta or in the noodles?
No, in the cheese.
Wait, I'm
the
confused.
cheese.
So is it the grated cheese?
Yeah.
So you have a thing of grated cheese, and you put the egg in the cheese?
Yeah.
And you mix it all up?
Yeah.
And the pancetta?
Yeah, and then you put the cheese and the eggs mixture in the pancetta, and you put the spaghetti in it, and you mix it all together, and boom, it's done.
Does the egg stay raw?
No, it cooks when you put it in the pan with the pancetta.
So you're
And
putting the
then,
cheese in the pan.
yeah,
And okay, that's the part I
with the
missed
egg.
somehow, that the cheese
No,
goes
no,
in the
the
pan with
cheese.
the
You
pancetta.
mix the cheese and the egg and maybe some water. I'm not sure, but you make like a sauce out of it, and then you dump that into the pan with the
Okay.
pancetta and the pasta,
And the
and then
egg.
it and then it,
That makes more sense.
and then it cooks it. It cooks the egg, because it's all loose, so it cooks it
Yeah.
real quick once it gets in the pan, and it's
Eggs don't take much. Absolutely.
no, they don't, man. It's quick.
Yeah.
It's easy. I mean, the hardest part really is just mixing the cheese with the egg.
Yeah. Well, my rule of thumb is I never cook anything I can't spell, and pancetta has always bothered me.
Oh
I
Lord, I wouldn't be
refuse to
eating
deal with it.
anything where
If I can't spell it, I'm not eating it.
I'm trying to help you, goddammit.
I
Now this
appreciate
is
the
good,
effort.
Zad. Actually, this is like very practical for men that just need simple dishes they can put together easily. This is
And
good
yet,
stuff.
it's like something you would get at an Italian restaurant if you do it right. I mean, it's that good.
Well,
Does
that's
the
the key.
Romano
If
and
you do it
Pecorino
right.
come together like mixed, or
No,
do
no,
you
no.
buy
Yeah,
each one separately?
you can buy it shredded already.
Okay.
You can just go to the store. You can buy the what did I say, pancetta. You can buy that at the
How do you
store,
spell
and
that? I'm teasing.
pancetta.
I'm teasing. I'm
Okay,
teasing.
but the thing is, you can just go buy a package of it. Usually, like it's in the big grocery stores. You just buy a package of it, and you buy your spaghetti, and you buy your pecorino romano. It's already grated, and then you're good to go. All you have to do really is just throw it all together. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds quick and easy if you're able to
It
pull
is.
off the
It's so
frying
stupidly
pan
easy.
thing.
I,
You need to have a cooking day, Jeff. Pick one day out of the week. Everybody could come up with recipes.
Yeah.
I, wait a minute. I apologize because I understand how you feel about your
No,
family,
no,
and
that's
I
a
would
great. I don't
never
mind
tell you.
ideas. It's people telling me how to
I
run
appreciate that.
the moment to moment. I don't mind like content ideas. I love those. Yeah, I could see doing a cooking segment like either weekly or periodically.
to
Or
me, cooking is like a magic spell. I mean, I have to do it exactly the way the recipe says it first, and then after, then after I realize how the spirit of it, so to speak, then I can do it on my own. Then I
oh
can
yeah.
make my own adjustments or what you want to call it. But
Yeah, exactly. That's how I train. That's how I train. I shouldn't talk like that, but that's really what it is. But that's how I taught my daughter because she was a big cook. I like to cook, but I use recipes, and she would always, "Hey, what's your recipe for this? And what's your recipe for that?" And I'd give it to her, and I'd make copies for it. And then after about the third time, I'd say, I'm not giving you the recipe anymore. You've made it a couple of times now.
you know how to do it.
Have the faith in yourself. If you make a mistake, it's going to taste like shit. Big deal. You throw it out, you start over. But
Yeah, it's just food.
I know you can do it. If you made it with a recipe twice, you can make it a third time without a recipe. And then she called me back a week later. You know what? That meatloaf came out really good. Oh yeah, okay. Well, welcome to the world of culinary arts.
I
my,
remember, like as a kid, I'd get bored. We had the Betty Crocker cookbook, and I'd get bored, and I'd take that cookbook and I'd find recipes, and I would bake stuff. And I didn't eat. I didn't like it. I didn't eat that kind of food, so I would bake all this stuff just for fun.
It was the
And then
process.
my siblings would eat it. I'd give it to the family. They'd eat it. But it was just something
wow.
I did as a hobby.
You needed one of those what do they call it? The little oven with the light bulb in
Oh, I
it.
had we. Oh my God!
Oh,
I've told
Betty
that story before on
Crocker.
here. That caused so much family drama
Betty
because me and
Crocker
my
self-made
stepbrother put that on
oven.
our
Ooh.
Christmas list one day, and my stepdad freaked out
Really?
about a boy wanting an easy bake oven, and nobody could understand why it was. Even the catalog, like the J.C. Penney catalog, had a little boy and a little girl play with the oven. So none of us thought that there was anything gender about this toy, and then
Yeah.
so it caught, and we had to have separate Christmases that year because he refused to
And
have
see,
any of his kids. Like no son of his is gonna have an easy bake oven.
and contrary to that, all we wanted to do was play with my sister's easy bake oven. Are you kidding me? I
Yeah,
could make up a little brownie and a little tin with
right.
a
And a
light bulb.
cake. It
So
had the little frosting packs.
again, it's a Gen X thing. We
See
did
now,
not see that. We
if
did
you
not.
had been a true entrepreneur, you would have made weed brownies with it and sold them to the neighborhood kids.
Oh well, yeah,
Easy
that's it.
baked oven.
Yeah, easy baked. Yo, it's an
Hey,
easy
thanks for that. I was looking for a new logo for the business. I could spell it. I could spell it just like Easy spells
Better
his.
check with Hasbro or Mattel or
No, I'm
whoever.
gonna spell it easy like Easy spells his name.
Oh,
easy with a Z. Yeah.
Easy baked. I wonder if that's why he picked his name. Maybe Easy Baked.
There you go.
Who knows? He's not of that generation.
No, no. And what about the Light Bright?
Oh my God! Favorite toy. Hello. In addition to the slime, the green slime that came in the little garbage can, it had all the eyeballs and the worms
I
in it.
never
You
had
could sit
that.
and
That's
play with
before
for
me. That slime is
days.
before me.
Oh, you were
I
post.
I
Well,
had
you're
we
older
had
than
the
me.
same. What is it called? Arm stretch arm.
Yeah,
Oh,
stretch your arms. And I had Mr. Stretch, and my sister bit a hole in it because she wanted to see what was inside it. It was this pink gel, and that is the only time in my entire life she ever got in trouble for anything was for biting my Mr. Stretch. And I'm like, finally, there's justice. Finally, she gets in trouble for something.
Why don't you just punch her out?
I wasn't violent. I mean, I wasn't. We fought. We had our fights every now and then, but it was not physical fights.
Yeah. How old was she compared to you?
A couple of years younger. We
Yeah.
were about the same. We grew up as peers. Like we were the two that grew up together and
Uh,
like helped each other develop.
Stretch
I was.
Armstrong. I never had that one, but I had the $6 million man.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
And the woman, and she came with all. She had the best gadgets. I would
well,
play with her a
that
lot.
was
Lindsay Wagner.
Lindsay Wagner, right? I had a crush on her, but she's such a cold, weird bitch in real life. Like
Wow.
she's just weird, man. Like there's something wrong with her.
Wow. 60 years and that came out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
No,
love
man,
the bar.
you could look
I
through
loved it.
the.
That was Sunday night, wasn't it?
I don't know. I used to watch them at like 4:30 in the afternoon at my grandmother's house, or 4 o'clock. It was just before my mother got home from work. So
Reruns. I was talking about first run.
no, I don't.
Yeah, we
remember.
watched it live. That was like our
I
nightly
think it was
TV.
Sunday night because I remember half the time, like you just said, half the time catching it at grandma's house and half the time catching it at home. And the only time I would have caught it at grandma's house would have been Sunday. So I'm thinking it was a Sunday night thing. But
Yeah, but don't get it wrong. I'm the oldest one here.
oh
So-
yeah, I'm sorry. That's right. We bowed to you.
Wait, how? Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh no, Dominus is older than me by 2 months. I'm sorry.
We would probably all be at the same high school together.
Probably, yeah.
And probably never interact. I'd hate to see.
Oh.
I'm so pessimistic. Why am I so pessimistic?
What are you pessimistic about?
I would have hung out with Jeff
Yeah, we would've never- we would've-
after
we
I
would've
fucking
accepted-
intimidated him into being friends with me.
No, Zad and I probably would have, like some of these people I probably would come into contact because I could see certain friend groups that might overlap with Zad. So Zad's somebody I might naturally end up meeting in real life too.
Wow. I'm impressed.
And
But a
Unless-
lot of these people are not.
And unless you and I were to go back behind the shed and spark one up, I bet you we probably wouldn't even be on each
In
other's
high
radar.
school, we would not have, but as an adult, we very
Yeah.
well could have.
Well, I found you, Jeff, because of Jamie.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
Jamie's cool. He does a lot of good recovery stuff.
Not only that, but he built the Millennium Falcon
The
Lego.
Lego thing.
Oh man, Lego.
Hey,
that
I
was-
gotta
In
say,
fact, let me drop his channel.
that's pretty goddamn impressive, if you ask me. Because when you see the thing built, it looks fucking complicated.
Is
It's
he still working on it, or is it
no, he
done?
finished it. He finished it. He's trying to get the all-terrain armored transport walker now.
Oh,
You know, from the second movie, those walkers that were in
oh,
this.
the creatures with the big long legs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not creatures. They're robots. They're
yeah. Well,
vehicles.
they were creatures to us, but
Yeah,
what do you call them?
but it's called an all-terrain armored transport. They call it an AT-AT.
Oh,
And he's looking for that one now. He's going to build that.
we could
I
have a
remember we
stream where we
had.
all do Star Wars models,
I
or
was
sit
going to
around and
do
do
a
models.
stream yesterday of me building a bird cage that my mother ordered for my bird, and I don't know why, but she got it. And then I'm like, I was going to do a stream building it, but it took me literally like less than 2 minutes to put it together.
Oh,
I was like, this is not going to be good, you know.
y'all are making me want to go out and buy some stuff for a bacon sandwich and a box of Legos or something on the way home, and come and do some kind of craft while I stream.
Well,
Lego,
how much, Biff?
people
How
make
much
the
money do you
Legos out of the kits, and that never. I can appreciate it. That's tedious work, and it's still, and I can appreciate that, But we ended when you end up with a box that a human being can be shipped in, full of all those Legos. Those they all we basically we had a huge TV box. It was from the TV that came in, and after we would build the Lego sets, and that was fun, But you can't keep them all individualized, so you just end up dumping them all into one big box after you get tired of making everything. Now the challenge was to make that same thing out of that same box, and they would get rid of all the unnecessary pieces. So if you can make a Millennium Falcon out of a big box of miscellaneous Lego blocks, hey man, props to you on that one.
Yeah, but you got to understand the Millennium Falcon was like 3,000 something pieces, and
Oh
they
no,
are
no. Well, it's
some
just
of
the
them are
idea.
little pieces that you have to put together in a very specific way to get the
I
outcome.
understand the concept of Legos. I definitely
Okay.
understand the concept of Legos. I'm just saying, as far as the creative process, to be able to, because we would just get this box of Legos with no rhyme or reason, all different colors, all
That's
different,
what we had. It's just a
and
big
you just
Yeah,
dig
box.
I
yourself in.
usually
You just dig yourself in, and you just start building. And
Yeah,
that was
random
more.
stuff.
That got your creative juices flowing a little more than just building a kit. Now I haven't. I built models back in the day, so I don't. I'm not disparaging that. I'm just
I,
saying that
I
you haven't been
made
creative until you dig in a box of 5,000 miscellaneous Lego parts and build something recognizable.
I made a Lego weapon. All I did was I took a bunch of Legos and I made them into a block, and then there was room enough inside this block for one pencil. And what I did was I put a rubber band around the Lego, and then I put a needle in the eraser of a pencil. And you would put the pencil into the Lego and pull it back, and the rubber band would shoot it like a crossbow or something. And it was perfectly accurate because it would have the Lego to guide the pencil. And it would just shoot, and the needle would stick into whatever that you shot at it. So, like if you wanted to put, tranquilizers on there or something, or
This is probably the thing that's gonna finally get my channel struck.
Yeah, really.
Did you
Nowadays,
shoot it at any humans?
no. I
Oh,
shot it
okay.
at my mother's curtains, unfortunately, and that created a problem because of all the pinholes.
but
But
again, here's the generational difference because the kids are they're just making those things on 3D printing now.
well, yeah,
Just program that into a 3D printer and then print one off for you. That's the part.
Oh
That's the part
yeah, I
that
think we've
makes
moved
me.
beyond pencil needle guns. So your mom had curtains with a bunch of holes in it. It's like, what happened to your curtains? Oh, my son created a pencil gun from Legos and shot up
Just
my curtains.
target practice. That's all.
no one knew what caused it. But
Oh, that's even better. So, did
Mom,
she
I
still have
think
the
it got
curtains? Like,
lost.
do you see them to this day? And like, you're the only one that knows why those holes are there.
no, that was 30 fucking years ago. That
Oh,
was nothing new.
I
like
remember.
faced every day with your
I remember having to go to my grandmother's house one time. This is the other grandmother. And she walk in the kitchen, all three of us walk in the kitchen. And she looks up at the ceiling and she said, I noticed after the last time you guys left, I had soda on my kitchen ceiling. Any one of you want to admit to that? And that was the first time I honestly didn't know anything about it. And I was like, I don't know. And these guys are looking at me. I'm like, I'm the tallest one.
Did they
Yeah, I
believe you?
accidentally did it, Grandma. I'll climb up there and clean off the ceiling. And
You
so
took the fall for it?
I was the oldest.
Oh, you thought you had done it without realizing.
No, I know
Oh,
I didn't do
you
it.
kn-
It was
but
one
you
of the.
you're
It was
like,
one
I'll
of my
clean it up
siblings. They
anyway.
came in and they opened up a can of soda and it went psh, all over the ceiling and they didn't want to admit it. So they just threw the can away and walked away. So Grandma called us out and said, one of you rugrats did it. So somebody's got to own up to it. And me being the oldest and the tallest and the most capable of cleaning it, I was just like, you know what? Okay, you're right. Grandma, I'll clean it for you. And I had to get the mop out and get the bucket. And she said, that was old school stuff. And, I knew my brother they were 2.5 and 5 years younger. And I was like 10. So I'm not going to have my brother, 5-year-old, climb up there. But he's probably the one that did it.
So you were like being a noble brother.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, there's nothing noble about me.
No.
Well, I
It
shot
was
my
practical. It was
grandmother.
practical. How do we get rid of this situation with the least amount of damage to everybody involved? That's what it was. But it
I
brought
shot
yeah.
my grandmother in the eye with a rubber band, and
Oh, here we go.
I'm not surprised.
she chased me around for a long time, and I hid in the closet where they kept the vacuum. And I pressed up against the shelves, and I hid there for the longest time, and she fucking cooled down. But I didn't mean to do it. It just kind of happened. I was aiming at her, not at her eye. You know.
But you were aiming at her, so you were trying to hit something on her.
Well, yeah, it's my grandmother, and I'm fucking bored. What else am I gonna do?
Wow.
I'm
That's
bored. Let me shoot
If
grandma
that's
with
not a
rubber
Gen
bands.
X, if that's not
What
a Gen X statement right there, I shot my grandmother. Yeah.
how old were you?
35, I think.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
And you're hiding in the closet.
Like deep, like in Friday in the chicken coop.
There you go.
No, I was like, I don't know. I was probably like 8 or 9 or something.
Did you have siblings?
No.
Oh, that's why. Because
Oh,
we
You got
channeled
one,
that
you know?
stuff among each other, but you didn't have any siblings to help pull it out of you and direct it. So
No, I was an evil
You-
motherfucker, and I
Right.
remained so.
we had outlets for that.
I remained
yeah, they were
evil.
called siblings. We shot them instead.
You heard about Sauron in The Lord of the Rings. Well, I fucking slapped that bitch around like he's nobody.
I've heard some of your stories.
Yeah.
You sound-
I'm only kidding. I'm kidding. I kid.
Another character I miss is Evil Knievel.
I remember
Oh,
him.
Do
He
you
would do
remember
the
when
stunts.
he tried to do the Grand Canyon?
I
with that-
had
Yeah.
the Evil Knievel doll. I had the Evil Knievel motorcycle.
So did I.
Yeah, I think
So
my
did I.
stepbrother
You
had him.
wind it up,
Yo, I had the same thing.
and we were jumping. Our basement wasn't finished at the time. It was just drywall, and it wasn't all the way up to the ceiling. And we were doing jumps, and I had him jumping ramps, and he jumped so high, hit something, went behind the drywall, and so now that's a lore of the family home now, that whenever we get ready to sell, somebody's got to get Evil Knievel out from behind the wall. We can't leave him behind. Because there was no way we were going to tear apart the wall now. But when we leave, we'll destroy the house to get Evil Knievel out. Okay.
I used to have Star Wars action figures, and when I was a child, probably 8 or 9 years old or so, I lost Chewbacca's rifle. Okay.
I remember. it.
And
Yep.
And then we moved when I was like 23 or something. And the day we fucking moved, out of impulse, I just reached under the heat register and reached around in there, and don't take reach around out of context, but I reached under the thing and I found it. The day we moved, and I was like, for fucking 13 years or whatever it was, that thing was lost.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah,
Did you still have Chewbacca?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And then my father made me give all my Star Wars figures away to some unknown child of lesser providence.
What? You had to give your toys to poor people?
Yeah,
Wha-
yep.
Well,
Wow. would that would have been very problematic for me.
Well,
yeah.
you can understand maybe a little more about me from hearing that story
Yeah,
because
just to give away the toys at all, not necessarily that it was to poor people, but if my parents came and told me,
But
"Oh, you
wait,
have to give away all your toys now."
a
yeah,
minute, Jeff. He was an only child. So
right.
could you imagine how many toys he was sitting on?
Not a lot, brother. Not
Oh,
as
come
many
on.
as you would
But
think.
as a Star Wars action figures,
Yeah.
that's just
They're worth money now, even
I
played
know
with.
what kind of parent makes their kid give away their action figures.
Somebody who got it in his head that he was gonna fucking do a good deed at my expense.
Just
Yeah.
go buy the poor kids their own action figures. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
weren't that much. I mean, we had them, and we were poor.
I
Can
don't
I
know.
share?
It
Can I
bothered me
share
a little.
another embarrassing childhood memory
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
you yourself, Jeff, will appreciate this. I'm sure a lot of other people will, but and this is gonna be it's hard, but those same action figures, I had a bunch of them. I had Boba Fett, I had Darth Vader, I had everybody, I had
I
the whole
remember all
lineup.
those.
I loved it. And I had a nice corner desk in my bedroom. It was all white Melmac. Remember that shit? It wasn't really wood. It was all nice and flat and smooth. And I would take my boom box, my double cassette boom box, you know those, and I'd sit there and record stuff off the radio, record my songs off the
Hmm.
radio, make some my mixtape and whatever. And
Yeah.
then when I got it right, then I would bring out the band and I would line them all up and I'd start the music and I'd have an entire theatrical performance of Star Wars performing the current hits off the radio there, right there on my desktop. That was but I mean, I still played with this. I mean, it's embarrassing, but
I'm gay, and I didn't even think to do that with them.
I
What
told you it was
year
in the
was it? It was the
It's at 76.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like 80, like Dancing to Michael Jackson. Like you're talking about
No,
when it came out, like in the late
I
70s.
Yeah, like
like
1978,
when
Dancing more
when I
dancing
79.
to Blondie
like
disco.
when the toys were brand new, like when they were
Dude, they
really,
Yeah.
had a
I get
disco
it.
song. They had a disco song on the radio that you can still hear it to this day by Miko. It was the band.
Yes, I have it. The Cantina song.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, they have that,
And the
and
Star Wars theme.
right.
No,
There's two of them that they
my
used to play
lineup, my
on the
lineup
radio.
mostly consisted of ABBA, actually.
Well,
Okay, you made all your Star Wars characters dance to ABBA, and I'm the gay one.
That's
Lemmy
what I'm
from
trying to. Jeff, I
Lemmy
told
from
you it was going to be
Motorhead used
embarrassing.
to
You know what
like
you're doing now?
ABBA.
You're making me feel. I should have never said. It. Now, okay,
You
I'll,
haven't
I'll
met Barnabas, but this happens here all the time. Sorry.
Lemmy, the bass player and lead man of Motorhead, one of the most metal bands of all
let me
time,
is
used
God.
to love ABBA. He loved it. He said they were
Kurt
great.
Cobain, when he went on tour, they had one cassette with him in the van the whole time, and it was ABBA's greatest hits. He listened to it the whole time. He said it influenced his music so much. It's one of his favorite bands.
Mm.
And the crazy part is that none of them ever spoke English. That's the part that blows my mind.
Really?
They well, English was not even considered a second. From what I understand, I may be, but I've heard that the
Because they
English was
sing so
barely
beautifully.
it was barely a second language for them. They were just they were singing it phonetically. They were singing all their lyrics phonetically. That's talent, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, because they put out a new album a couple of years ago,
Blondie,
but
yeah, you're
it
absolutely right. The tide is high. That was in the playlist a lot.
that would and Olivia Newton-John and Tony Basil,
Let's
they would play all those at the
physical,
skating rink.
physical, yeah. Tony Basil, yeah. Mickey, that was
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Mickey.
And you know what, Jeff? Seriously, I was going through videos yesterday because of your conversation, your afternoon conversation about race, and I pulled up an old Run DMC video, and I'm watching it, and there's Penn and Teller, and if you watch the video at the beginning, it shows a group of black individuals approaching two white individuals who happen to be playing 3 card Monte on the street and scamming all these black people. They come in with their song and embrace them, trick them at their own game, and then by the end of the video, dressing Penn and Teller up with chains, with everything else, with so they look like them, and everybody dancing at the end, having a good time. And I'm thinking to myself, that's what our generation saw race relations as. Just like when they did Walk This Way with Aerosmith.
With Aerosmith.
We as the white cisgender who loved Aerosmith, at first we were like, wait a minute. Run DMC, they're gonna rap to our stuff? And then you see him getting pissed, and you see him banging on the wall, and he busts through the wall, and then they end up on stage in a big concert.
Yeah,
and what?
like
Everybody's
Ebony
having
Ivory
a good
2.0.
time. Everybody's enjoying themselves. And I watched those videos, and I was like, that's exactly what we were talking about. What went wrong? Why can't we?
Nothing went wrong. That's why the other day when Jack said that because of the sentencing statistics that I think they think our generation, because they use different markers for racism, and whatever they're looking at, they look at our generation and they see it as race. Like we're more racist than their generation is. So they just see us as the older, more racist generation, and their generation is the less racist, more woke generation that's aware of all the stuff.
And they really need to meet our grandparents. That's what
And to try to communicate the experience of just how not racist our generation, it's impossible for them to understand. I just think the experiences and the starting points are just too different. They're never going to understand what it was like to be Gen X. It's just too remote and weird for them. What was the Run DMC video?
Well, I know Walk This Way. I can't remember.
Was it? It was You Be Illin'. It's tricky.
It's tricky. It's tricky because that was the theme. Because they were tricking. Penn and Teller were tricking the crowd because they were cheating at 3-card Monte, and they're the heroes. Run DMC are the heroes in the video. They come in and they ask him, "Hey, could you teach us how?" And he says to him, "This is a key point in the video." He says to him, "Not with that skin." Now, I heard that, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. But he did it while he was flicking his tie. He flicked his tie and said, not with that skin. Now, if a millennial would hear, well, of course, you're not going. They can't be like that because they don't have the same skin. But he was referring to their dress. So he told her, you got to loosen up. You got to change your style, change your appearance, not your skin. It's your you need to, and that is one minute detail that would get lost. They would be listed as racist in this day to tell him he needs to change his skin.
I think people that want to see racism or are motivated to see racism are going to see it, and those that want to see things accurately are going to do that, or more accurately, realistically rather. Hey, Dirt.
But that blows apart the old sentiment that perception is reality. Because that's not what they're perceiving.
But for them, the perception is reality, because to them, their perception is real. And our perception of how we lived our life is real to us. And they're two different, they have a different version of how we lived than we ourselves have. And I'm going to defer to our version because we were actually there and we have direct experience. They're looking at it from a distance.
Hey, Dirt.
Hello, how are you?
What's up?
I like that.
Nothing new here, really. Just hanging out down the shore.
Just stopped by to hang out.
Yep, just killing time down the shore, until everything happens.
So how are things with you?
Oh, actually, I went
you
to
seem better.
I went to an estate sale today of like I guess a few older people. I found some cool things, but I didn't buy them. But I mean, like I saw a nice silver ring. Too bad it didn't fit. That was really cool. And I saw a bunch of campaign buttons. I was almost going to buy, but I didn't like the person that was campaigning on the buttons. But I thought they would be worth money. But they were only worth like $10. Go figure for like 50 of them.
I like Ike.
No, no, no. I wish it was stuff like that. I mean, I
Yeah.
actually have found a campaign button on the surface from JFK. That was really weird. Not
Wow.
even dug in the ground. But these were 2012 Biden-Obama things. So no wonder why they were sitting there in piles.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, McCain button, I don't think would bring that much either.
Dude, you want to hear a really weird story that you said that? Because I talked about that to my father. I metal detect with a guy that, he died a couple of years ago, but while we were first metal detecting, he dug a Palin and a McCain campaign button that was like 6 inches down. Like it was like down in the earth, like 6 inches. It was really weird.
Wow.
And that was like 2014 that we dug it. So it was like, it wasn't down there that long.
Yeah. Now, are you a collector of
I
those particular things or just in general?
I like to just dig all history, and I like to dig like coins and jewelry and stuff like that. We occasionally come across like campaign buttons and like like cool things like that. I mean, have found what was it, like Civil War stuff here too, and stuff from the actually medieval times in New Jersey. So I mean, there's tons of stuff here.
Wow.
Yeah. I have it
My
on
greatest
channel.
find was again in my grandmother's basement. I'm walking around, I'm looking at all the crap, and I see this little whistle hanging it's just like somebody just hung it there, and it had a ribbon and it had a button and everything. And I took it down and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it says "Go Sox" on it. And what it was a whistle from the 1959 World Series, the American League champion White Sox. And I'm like,
That's awesome.
this has got to be saved. This has got to be rescued, man. Because this was probably 30, 40. It had been 50 years old at that
Yeah, I'm
time.
doing good.
That's pretty cool. I would hold on to that definitely.
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
Have you framed it?
Dolbez or Dolbeez? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I prefer the doll Baz.
It's
Don't
Norwegian.
Well, yes, everything is Norwegian at this point. Kamala Harris herself has claimed to be Norwegian as long as she's in front of Norwegian people. Then she speaks with a Norwegian accent. She says things like I am a member of the Norwegian species.
All right.
Maybe he could verify that fact about ABBA.
Well, he is part Swedish. Do you know if they spoke English at all? The rumor is they spoke no English.
He's not talking.
Oh,
We'll never know.
Okay, now.
Oh,
His sound now.
Now
Nice.
you're with
Yeah.
us.
Is it? By the way, can you just? Okay, is this good or is
Yeah.
this better?
Okay, dude.
The first one.
I don't know. It just says back and front, and I don't know what that actually means on the phone because I'm using my phone as a
As
microphone.
long as you know what it means in a sexual situation.
Oh yeah. No, actually, what was the question?
ABBA. There's a rumor that none of them spoke English. Is that true? Do you know?
Well, I got no idea.
Oh.
I
Well, you're
think they spoke English.
the closest to ABBA we have around here. So.
I can search it up in some of the in Swedish. Maybe the Swedes.
I mean, I
have
guess
speak
we
their
could
own.
Google it ourselves.
I apologize. I just thought it was good.
No, but it's funny.
I want to bring all of your attention to a Swedish band named Avatar. They are heavy metal, and they are the greatest fucking band I've ever seen in my life. They never make a mistake. They are vision heavy metal. Their songs, every one of their songs is like a hit song.
Uh-oh, what is that?
There's nothing I can say bad.
Incoming call.
Oh, okay.
Avatar.
Do you like punk rock also, sir?
I like anything that's good.
Who's clacking?
My phone is right beside
Oh,
the keyboard. That's probably not good.
loud.
I thought Jeff was looking up Avatar.
I am. I'm trying to. So far, it's not bringing up
I don't
anything.
have anything to look up. If you're going to look up ABBA and you're going to look up Avatar, you should have been prepared.
They have videos to go along with their songs that are like professionally produced videos that are very good. They all tell a story.
Very good.
Every song is very good. No, every
good.
song tells a
It's good.
story. You know,
Real good.
it's real good. No, every song tells a story pretty much. And in fact, one of their albums is a concept album, and it tells the story of this owl that is fighting against an eagle for control over the night. You know, like the owl wants eternal night, and the eagle.
ABBA?
No, ever.
Oh, this band. I'm sorry. I thought you were still in ABBA. I thought all of this was
Jesus
ABBA.
Christ, Jeff, stay with the program.
I heard of a really good band recently. They're not that old, but they're actually like they're a hair band posing as like a parody group, and they're called Steel Panther. They sing. a
Oh
song called
yeah. They're good.
Fat Girl.
They're
It's such a great song, I gotta say. It's
Yeah,
like
they're
my
good.
favorite
They're
song.
good.
Not body positive girl.
Well, no, I mean it was a fat girl at the bar trying to pick him up and stuff, and you know the chorus is like "There she blows." It's a fat girl. It's a really good song.
They're
And I got
like-
a problem
they're an
justifying
80s
Queen
metal band.
to my wife.
They're an
Justify
80s
who?
glam rock band that does
Queen?
satire songs. It's,
Now, every time I hear Fat Bottom Girl,
Oh, Queen. Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
because
good
my
song.
wife,
That's a
wife's
good song.
she's got a little cushion for the pushing. So yeah, I always, so when Queen comes on, I
Like,
tell her
it was a game.
that's our song. You know, Fat Bottom Girl, you make the rockin' world go round. You know, and she looks at me sideways. So
Yeah,
I can't
don't say
imagine.
Does
that.
she know that a gay wrote it? That might make her feel a little better.
Oh yeah, because I've already told her he's the only one I'd ever.
Oh,
Cheat on.
I didn't. That's not what.
Oh, Freddie Mercury.
Thought it
Oh,
was
Freddie
Goop.
Mercury. That's
Oh, you should
Really?
watch the Vandals. They do a really good parody of was it "Don't
picked
Stop
Freddie
Me Now"?
over
The
me.
Vandals.
oh yeah.
He's dressed like Freddie
Anything.
Mercury on the streets. It's a really good song, video.
I loved everything about Freddie Mercury. And when I found out, and here's a Gen X thing again, Jeff. I grew up. Okay, fine. They turned out and they told me, "Do you know Freddie Mercury's gay?" Oh, that only makes him more interesting because if I know that there's
Yeah.
a gay person that can speak to me in that music, well, that's fine. That's cool. Now I get a center for where I can, reach out to the community.
Good
and be
thing you
like,
didn't have any
I'm a-
Elton John records.
The Flash
no,
Gordon was awesome. That soundtrack that Queen did also awesome.
Oh my
Flash
God!
Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great movie. Oh, that was great.
The
we
Queen
can't-
made
we
it
had-
better with their music. I swear that
Absolutely.
actually intensified the whole movie. From, like,
Absolutely.
Flash!
We had that on beta. We had that on Betamax. I'm telling you.
the first movie I seen on cable was
Ruler
that.
of the universe!
What?
And
what was
Revenge of the
movie?
Nerds. He did the end of
Oh,
Revenge
yeah.
of the Nerds.
Yeah. Like that was what, like 87?
We Are the
86.
Champions song.
Well, how about the Highlander movie? There was a whole soundtrack by Queen for that movie.
84.
Yeah, very significant band in music, in movies.
Lost them way too soon.
Dobez, what's up today? Did you watch a movie?
No, I took a 6-hour train ride, so.
Oh, you're at your you're at home.
Yeah, well, both are my homes, to be fair, but I'm now
Yeah.
at my childhood home.
Yeah, home.
Yeah.
Like most people don't call
Close.
college home, at least in America. Like they'll say I'm going home for the weekend or going
Yeah.
home for the break.
I mean, I'm just calling it home. No, both of them.
He went
I
home.
lived there.
He went
Home
home.
is where the
Maybe.
heart is.
His parents read him the Gotterdammerung.
Haven't read that, but I
What?
wish they did.
So I
His
wanted to announce
parents
something.
read him the Reinheitsgebot.
Sorry.
Welcome, Wildheart.
Oh,
who's
here
Good
comes the
older guy.
Hello.
Oh,
Look at this ginger.
The what?
I'm only kidding, brother.
Yeah.
being Everyone's here. I'd like to announce that I'm probably going to be trying to do a morning show stream, actually, for like coffee and stuff, and reading the local news. And if anybody'd ever like to join the Fun with Dirt, do an editorial or need to watch it and stuff like that, I'm gonna have like it starting like later on this week, I think, or maybe Monday. It's basically just gonna be in the phases of like experimentation here and there. But yeah, all of you guys are invited.
I would love to do. What are you gonna do it at the
Ah,
regular time?
yes, I was trying for like earlier daytime hours between like 9 or 8 and noon on those hours, and just basically if something happens later on in the day, maybe come back on for like
What is
special
that? Hang
events.
on. What's that noise?
What noise?
Oh, never mind. I have a tab open. I thought someone was playing a video.
But
Hey,
You're trying to
Omar,
vent like anything
Sorry,
else,
man.
Jeff.
Omar, you keep saying times, but what time zone are you in? Where
I'm
are
in
you?
on Eastern. I'm in New Jersey, Eastern time zone. It would be
Oh,
around. I like to get up early, and then I'd like to try like a couple times. So maybe like probably around like 7 or 8 a.m., and then probably like later on maybe
yeah, yeah,
11 to 12.
yeah, yeah.
So
I,
to get
uh, I stream during those hours too, and there are not a lot of people doing it because they're all at work, you know. So that's
yes,
why it's a good time.
yes,
We can maybe like double stream or something.
that would be
Sure,
cool. I'll
Jeff,
keep.
I'll be your co-host, but you have to pay me.
Well, I'm not able to do that right now.
I'm only kidding. I'm begging for money myself. I need new glasses. I need a new hip. I need new speakers for my bass amp. I need a lot of fucking things. I'm very needy.
Yeah, I have
Um,
half my crew and all my stuff basically at home. I don't have any of my equipment, so I basically have them like going off of like a couple of laptops that they work decent, but I need my screens. I have like really bad eyesight, so I need my monitors. That's the only reason I'm like slacking and slowing down with this.
Mm.
I did the
Jeff,
same thing,
didn't
Jeff.
somebody donate like $80 to you the other day? Was it Liliana?
I don't. Oh, you mean for the wrenches?
No, yeah, something like that. She was going crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people were. I was renting out wrenches. Or they were wanting to rent out wrenches for the day, and I'm like, okay, sure. That was the going price. So
Yeah,
they came up with
Cap-
it, not me.
Capitalism at its finest.
that was wild though. You should keep doing that.
I've seen other panels where, well, even Chaotic Truth, where you can go and pay for a 5 minute one on one with an individual. That's always entertaining.
You're not supposed to be able to do one-on-ones.
Well,
Oh, you mean for super chat?
on the panels.
Oh,
What he's
like to
doing.
come up, oh yeah, that you
Right,
could do. For memberships, you're not supposed to
right.
give one-on-one
If you
sessions.
want to, if for X amount of dollars, you and so can take on for 5 minutes by yourselves. Everything you got to say, get it out. He does quite well like that.
Yeah, really successful at doing that stuff.
But then you're just a fight promoter at that point. Don
Right,
King
like
himself.
Fight Club for
Yeah.
10 minutes of Fight Club. We did that here the other day with Mike and Wombat.
Well, I'm gonna boogie right now, Jeff. I'm gonna prepare for hopefully tomorrow morning because I'm basically just gathering the information and the clips here and there and voiceovers and stuff I'm just doing. So hopefully it'll be
Oh, you think it'll be
entertaining.
that soon? As soon as tomorrow?
Well, I've been doing different things every morning to try to get something different here and there. Like I've been trying to add like chat to this main screen where you don't have to actually read the sidebar. It would be on the chat like right over there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm like adding other things where I have to actually have more of my connections and stuff like that. I'm experimenting and I'm like low budget here, so everything's like ghetto. So it's like
Yeah, same
I
here.
just don't have my green screen.
What do you mean ghetto?
The antlers are ghetto.
I do things like MacGyverish where I don't pay for it. I just basically try to find free stuff online and get
I
that
live in
stuff
the
to
ghetto.
work.
I was going to say OBS is the best of that. If you can download OBS, it's free, and if you can get someone to teach you how to, yeah.
I'm on OBS right now. Actually, that's what this whole setup is.
Oh right, yeah, you know that. Yeah.
But thanks you.
It's so easy, even a ginger can do it.
Exactly. I'm part ginger also. So
Yeah. No, it's too complicated for me.
But yeah, man. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll hopefully see you on the flip side.
You
Nice
too,
meeting
Dirk.
you.
We'll look for you
Take care.
tomorrow.
Have a great day.
Take it easy. Hey, Wildheart, I'm only making fun of you because
Yeah, you find it.
I'm Gen X, and I make fun of everyone, including myself. But
Yeah.
are you wearing an AC/DC shirt that for those about to rock, or is it something different?
No, Hell's Bells.
Okay, I like that. That's good. If it was for those about to rock, as a Gen Xer, I would have said get fucked. But that's a great shirt.
Damn. I like the Insane Clown Posse. If anybody else, I'm just throwing it out.
I don't dislike it, you know. I mean, I don't have really an opinion on it other than how.
That was kind of past my generation.
Well, I've seen some reactions to their fans, like in Waffle Houses and things like that, and I feel
Is that the
bad.
Juggaloos? The Juggaloos?
Yeah,
Juggalos, yeah,
Juggalos. I considered myself one at the. Well, when I was working, that was always the shit that you would play on the way into work to amp me up. Because again, like every other act, they had an agenda, and it really their agenda was not what it was on the surface. And I'm not going to get into that, but that's what I listened to them for. But,
so why do you hate black people so much?
Because they smell.
Whoa, hey now.
I don't know what you want from me. You want me to give you a reason? There is no reason.
No, I can tell you the best answer is I don't hate black people.
Yeah.
Don't give a reason. It's a trap.
They smell? Holy shit, man.
Dude, this is ridiculous because I just don't understand how we can, at this point in our history, where we can classify an entire race. It just blows my mind.
You can't.
How you cannot like an entire, you don't like gay people, you don't like straight people, you don't like this, you don't like that, you don't like gingers. Hell no, I don't like ginger. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
No, but the problem is when you group everyone together and you say I hate all gay people or I hate all black people.
You've already lost.
That's the problem.
You've already lost.
Yeah, you might. I mean, some gay and black people might be, not very nice, and you might not like them, but you can't group them all together because you don't know them all.
You know what I do is I group all stupid people together. I hate stupid people. I don't care if they're black, white, brown, green, purple. I just don't like stupidity. Is that a problem? Like when you're in the grocery store and there's one person in the aisle in front of you and they are blocking the entire aisle and you come up at speed and they do not move because they are involved in their own little fucking world. And it's like, I just want to yell at them, move, but they don't.
Well, to be fair, that's not a level of intelligence. That's not stupidity.
Is it not stupidity? Self-awareness, knowing where you are and what your situational awareness is, knowing exactly where and what is going on.
It depends when you say you go at speed at them. It depends what kind of speed. Like if you're going about 45 miles an hour, do you know what I mean?
Normal grocery store speed, but not so slow as to make it look like I was looking for something.
That's an old George Carlin joke. You ever notice when you're on the road, everybody that drives slower than you is an idiot? Get out of the way, you idiot!
I have noticed
faster than you is a son of a bitch lying. But yeah, ignorance. I have no time for ignorance. Stupidity I can work around because education level, But I use stupidity as a gauge of education. And if somebody's not educated, well, that's different than being ignorant. If you know better and you just choose not to, that's ignorance. If you know you're blocking the lane at the grocery store, that's ignorance.
What if you don't know?
See, I'm aware of that comment that cult
Being
of
ignorant.
culture just said, you know, just as long as you know people find. Yes, I do know that they find me stupid as well at times.
Oh, I didn't know that he was talking about you.
No, but however, I go out of my way to not be that fucking person, and other people do not. You know, I go out of my way to not be the dummy.
I don't know, Zach. From some of your stories, I'm wondering.
Well, those are from 30 years ago.
Out of the way, right? Yeah, I don't even know the gentleman.
My stories are from 30 years ago.
I don't see him going out of the way for anything.
No, I mean, I would agree. I don't see any issue with you other than your stories. But interacting with you in person, I haven't encountered anything that has me worried.
That's why I say stupidity doesn't play a role. See, that's what I'm saying.
Do you think that
ignorance.
People choose to learn, like choose to be educated? Like if somebody's not educated, it's because somewhere along the way they made the choice to deprioritize that activity?
It could be.
I don't. I think it's the people who are in charge of educating that fail.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can force someone to be educated if they're not going to participate in, because education is ultimately internal. Like all you can do is help facilitate.
But who is our first educators, Jeff?
I'm thinking of my own life, and I'm not sure because I don't remember anyone really actively educating me. But our like the people around us, parents, guardians, family, TV.
I'm not talking about
TikTok.
education. I'm not talking about formal education. I'm talking about education just in general. I'm an autodidact though, so I was educating myself probably before other people even got to me. But we had things like catechism in the church, and they taught us all that, and I just took it as like fact. So like there were people around us teaching us stuff. And whether you choose to use that knowledge for if they were teaching you something that you don't agree with, well, that's fine, but it's still information that's valuable. And I just take the standpoint of education nowadays is provide everything and let the individual, but that's not the way it's done anymore. Now it's education. This is what you need to know. This is how you should think. This is everything that don't deviate from this plan. Whereas education should come from the home first, should come from the community, should come from every other source except formal education. That's the last resource, in my opinion, that should play a role in bringing up another generation. It should happen in the community.
Why are you against formal education, like schools?
Well, for here in America, it's been overrun by people with an ulterior motive, with an agenda. It's been. I mean, I don't want to get into the politics, but it's unions. It's the teachers have. It seems to me, the difference between formal education now and then is that parents. Back then, parents had a choice whether to be involved with their kids' education. Now, there is no choice. If you want to be involved in your kids, if your kids at school, the teachers will tell you, let us handle it. You're not educated enough. You're not a teacher. You didn't go to school. We are the teachers. We are paid to do this.
I have noticed that shift too.
They've cut you out of everything. So once you get to formal education, if that child doesn't know how to learn on his own, make his own mistakes, learn from those mistakes, if he doesn't do that by the time he reaches formal education, he's not going to get it there. Him or her they're not going to receive it there. So in my opinion, the life skills necessary should be formulated before even approaching.
Well, I didn't go to school to learn life skills. They didn't teach us life skills at school. That was all stuff your parents taught.
But that's the stuff we're not. That's the stuff they're not getting. Critical thinking should be developed at home, so that when a child does,
I don't know. Honestly, though, I don't know how many people are going to have the skill set to develop critical thinking. Like if you're thinking ordinary
Correct.
parents are going to
I
be able
agree.
to instill critical thinking in their
I
children,
agree.
I'm skeptical.
Not nowadays.
Meanwhile, Wildheart is rolling a joint, apparently.
No, it's just normal tobacco. I don't smoke weed.
What is it? Oh,
It's
a
normal
fag.
tobacco. Yeah.
Roll it.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Worry about your own mouth.
That's what we call them. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for the day when they change the Lord of the Rings, because in the Fellowship of the Ring, it says Gandalf bent down and picked up a faggot, and because he's setting it on fire to keep the hobbits alive, right?
Oh my God, they haven't gotten to it yet. You're right.
Yeah, they will eventually.
Well, you heard it here. You heard it here, folks. Get to it.
No,
Wokies, you'll have some work to do.
Don't
We're
do
giving
it.
you something constructive to do, so you don't have all this time to sit
Don't
around and think of
do
this
it.
bullshit.
Don't fucking
A
do it.
faggot in the UK though is like a meatball in gravy. That's what we call a faggot.
Oh Lord,
Meatball and
Meatball?
gravy.
that's a
Yeah.
whole
Is
new
it
image.
is it just one, or does it have to be a pair?
No, just one would be a faggot. Yeah, you could get many faggots, but yeah, just one on its
So
own.
multiple meatballs are faggots, but a single
A
meatball
faggot and a faggot. Can I have a couple of
Yeah.
faggots with that gravy?
Ah,
I'll go outside and smoke a fag while I'm waiting for the faggots to.
is smoke a fag while waiting for the faggot. Yeah.
Oh my God!
That's
Between
something.
this and the rubber band gun, this is going to be the test stream.
wait a minute. Somebody had a rubber band gun? I just
No, I mean the pencil gun. I'm sorry, the pencil gun.
because
the
I
Lego
just
gun.
shot my grandmother with a ruler.
Well, I'm conflating that with the pencil gun story. They're
I think
both.
he was talking about the drapes. I think he was talking about the damage to the drapes.
the
Look like
pinholes.
Swiss cheese. That's all I picture is a bunch of Swiss cheese hanging in the window
That's what you get. That's
with the
pretty
lights coming
accurate.
through.
It's accurate.
How would I explain that one to my grandmother? I don't know how the holes got in your. I would have had my ass beat for that one.
And I have a friend that pointed out to me. He says you don't need to call it critical thinking. It's just thinking, like just teaching thinking and people how to think, because that's really what it is. It's
Yeah.
when you're thinking critically as part of thinking.
Just don't make it indoctrination.
I don't know. I've seen some millennials. I wonder. But I understand what you're saying.
Indoctrination. Millennials need guidance, and
I see it on here too. I see the millennials.
They need something to believe in. They're looking for something to believe in.
Well, they picked something very divisive to believe in. This belief that white people are racist and try to suppress everybody. Of all the things to believe in, that's what gives your life meaning.
And it's not true,
I know. That's what's so weird to me. There's even less of it now than our generation, and they see more of it. Like, they're like, look at all this racism that y'all didn't even catch the first time around that's lying under the surface.
No, it's because people are trying to misdirect their attention away from the real problems of society, which are, why we are having so many issues with young people being able to even afford a home. They can't even do that. They want to take your attention away from the economic fucking stress that is being put on us.
That's exactly why I think the tide turned when, like I said, Gen X everything was cool, and they realized that wait a minute, if we don't have the race grift, if we don't have this confrontation over race, then we actually have to address the underlying issues of economic failures and all these other things. But if you throw race is always going to come to the top. It's always going to be the first thing that is going to be the catalyst between two opposing forces. Race will be the first thing. Without race,
only if you make it. It's not the first thing with me.
No. I'm saying they're making it that way to avoid.
Oh, right.
Deal.
Yeah.
Then well, we can't afford homes. Yeah, but it's racist. Well, wait a minute. Race has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that the
They
bank
think
won't
that
give
it
me a loan.
does. They don't believe that.
They need to think that.
They think there are people that are in the banking system that are either consciously or unconsciously, intentionally or otherwise, slanting loans away from black people to keep them behind in the system. And they think that they're making education harder for black people, et cetera, et cetera.
And so to combat that, they decided to create their own banking departments. Where to get if you're this minority, you could go see this person to talk to them about your finances. If you're this minority, if you're white, you get to go talk to these people. Right.
I just don't think they want to be in a society at all with white men unless it's on their terms. Like they're trying to create a parallel society to everything they don't like about this society.
And I think it's just ammunition to take down the society. That's what they're using.
I think parts of it the parts of it they don't like.
I think it's all part of the ginger agenda to take over everything.
A ginger.
Yes, they want to take over everything. They want to become the Jews of the media. They want to take over the world. Is that not true, sir?
Can I just say I'm not actually ginger. My hair is brown. It's only the
Why are you getting? Is it your accent probably?
Yeah.
Are you a Gen X or a millennial, Wildheart?
I was born. I don't know. I was born in 1981.
Right on that.
Yeah. Right on the edge.
Yeah.
You may qualify as Gen X.
You're Gen X-ish, I think.
Yeah.
That's cool. We're all Gen X here, except for you.
Because even people that grew up in the 80s, they didn't grow up with the kind of racism they think is around today. That didn't really start till, to me, the 2010s. So maybe the people that grew up in the aughts, maybe post 9/11, might start seeing some of that. But I think anybody that grew up in the 80s or even the 90s would have more the Gen X view of race and race relations.
But I mean, even if racism still exists, like it's got better.
It's changed form. Yes, that form got better, but there's a new type. There's a new strain that got worse, or that we didn't know about before. That's really, really bad.
You're right. The physical aspect of racism, the overtly that's gone.
It just went. It didn't diminish. It went underground. I think that's the belief. It didn't actually improve. It's just submerged, but it's still there, and it could erupt at any time. So we got to catch it at the source, which is the human mind.
Oh, let's kill the human mind.
Well, some would say that's what cannabis is for. Just, or mushrooms.
Is that the Ibram X. Kendi book? Ibram X. Kendi was one of the texts that they used to train the firefighters in this DEI training, and that's where some of this "you're all white people harming black people" came from.
I agree. That's more damaging than the physical. Well, I can't really say that. I can't. I just know from my past experience, I've never seen, nor heard of, nor was aware of any. I don't want to use the L word, but you know what I'm talking about. Any physical harm, great physical harm, portrayed on a class of individuals. Now there were, like I said, I remember that dragging. There was a dragging death in Texas when we were growing up. I believe it was a gay
isolated incidents.
Right, exactly. I agree that there are isolated
but they're
incidents.
taking those isolated incidents and they're making assumptions about everybody that they perceive to be in the same demographic group as the people perpetuating the isolated incidents.
And that's doing the damage.
With our generation, we were taught that as stereotype and prejudicing, and that it was a bad thing and not to do it, and all the reasons not to do it, because it keeps you from seeing the person as an individual, and it creates a barrier to actually connecting with that person. So you shouldn't prejudge and stereotype people in that way and make assumptions just based on their skin color or their member in a certain group. And so they've completely reversed that and said, no, you should be aware there are these assumptions about groups you can make that are accurate, and that you shouldn't not consider race. Because now, if you don't consider somebody's race, you're harming them, and that's racist. And our generation was all about looking past race and not even taking it into account, which was, I thought, their goal.
What's a man to do?
So now
ignore it,
please,
and come here.
I saw the study, the thought, the what am I? Anyways, where do I sit when I walk into a room now? That is the Schrodinger's box. That is the
I sit with the people that look the least uptight.
You sit on your ass. That's where you sit.
A lot of times it's the black people.
Your kingdom. Wherever
but you're going to be
I sit in the corner of the room
care.
So that way I can see the whole room and see what's going on around me.
Yeah. Well,
sit in the back. Always sit in the back and command respect from the back. Everyone should be looking back at you. Everyone should be looking back at you and saying, "What is up with this guy? He seems like he's got it together."
Oh, they do look back with me and say, "What is up with this guy?"
Jeff, you're right. You said it. You don't need the respect. That's the difference.
I never have. Like what I.
That's why
I've never needed anything from the people around me. They were definitely not my people that are not in my in group. I can ignore. I don't need anything from them. I don't need to do anything special around them.
If you don't demand respect, have you ever noticed that people fuck with you more?
Yeah, they do, but I can fuck back. I can defend myself. But they do fuck.
The point I was making though is if I came into a room and sat next to you, or sat next to it doesn't. If I didn't sit next to you, you're not going to be upset. If I did sit next to you, we'd be like, okay, cool. Who's this guy? And vice versa. If I remember the lunchroom, if you're sitting in a lunchroom and a black person came up to sit next to you and you were a white person, you'd be like, hey, what's up? What period? You just start a conversation. You don't even think about who's sitting down next to you.
Our lunchroom was so small and crowded, just finding a table anywhere. Like you sat wherever you could find a chair. Nobody cared what color the person was.
But now, knowing the fact that the minute you walk in the room and the entire room is going to judge you based upon where you sit, that's asinine.
Because it's too much TikTok. Not laws. It's not about that's. I don't know. That's not the point of this. It's not the choice of figuring out who to sit. It's like a thought exercise of what who you sit with says about you. So I don't know what you got out of it.
No, I understand it's a thought exercise, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I took the not laws. He's all confused up in Canada.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I can go from private to the comments and still see.
Not laws. Are you trying to convince us you don't live in internet world? And did you ever figure out your membership thing? Because I think you do deserve a membership. You and Colt both. And Internet God. And Spike. And Nim. And all these other names in here that are without memberships. What is going on here? You're touching the grass. Wait, hang on. Let me, what are those shoes?
What are those shoes? You like these?
You going bowling after this?
No.
They look like bowling shoes.
They're just an itch. Is that the new style?
No, they're motorcycle shoes.
Oh, I thought.
Oh, that's what I was asking, I guess, if they were a special kind of shoe for something.
Yeah. They're like carbon fiber or whatever, and they're hella lightweight. And
oh, wow.
A little ankle protection just in case. Because I don't want to wear the full-on boot that I had. And I don't want to get no, like, work boot and ride with something like that.
Yeah, I went the other way. I didn't care how light they were when I rode. I cared how thick the leather was. I had some boots that steel toed the whole 9 yards back when I was riding. But now that we
That's
have
what I
carbon
should
fiber,
have. I should have some stainless steel toes or whatever, but it's
Oh
hard to
yeah,
find
I used
stuff
to
out
wear those.
here. I live in the middle of nowhere, and like none of these stores sell anything. It's like you go into the motorcycle shop, and they have is like motocross and shit. They don't have actual like
You don't have a
leather.
Walmart?
won't buy your
Yeah,
gear at Walmart.
I don't like supporting the devil though.
I'm the same way. I haven't. I never. I haven't shopped at Walmart in years. I
Like
was a big like no, don't buy anything from Walmart person for a while.
I want to go without rather than go to Walmart. Like you know, and then buying shit online sucks.
Yeah,
That's how I got these. I thought they'd be a little more like rugged, but yeah, it is what it is.
a little too metro.
Yeah, I mean, it does look a little gay.
I like them. I'm sorry. I think they're stylish.
Yeah, you look good, gay.
Although that grass needs a little bit of. I could show you some grass if you knock your socks off.
I was thinking the same thing.
Wait, what does the grass need?
Nothing. He looks good.
Hey, Paul, what's up? Just hanging out.
Moose, you and I are going to have to compare grass one day.
Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second. I got this.
There's probably all kinds of grass y'all could compare.
Yeah.
We had that St. Augustine grass growing up. It was so itchy. Every time you played in the grass,
Oh, we
you
had
always itched that night.
that Bermuda stuff. I hated that Bermuda. That's such a pain in the ass to cut.
Oh wow, hang on.
There we go. A little close.
What strain is that? Ooh, that camera is. This is like
It's just
HD.
it's just a little. These are just little ones. That was a white widow. It's a shitty one. It's only like a foot tall. And then I
Old
got these
school.
train wrecks.
Oh, okay.
Old school. You're old school there. Train wreck, White Widow. There you go.
Yeah, the thing is,
Oh, hang
man,
on. Let me
is
take
like,
this off. Ooh.
yeah,
All
please.
right.
Uh,
Sorry,
they
guys.
literally like bred all the genetics to be like something that I don't really want. And so it's like I got to go back to the time where I first started smoking to get that same feeling. I'm
Yeah.
making my own strains.
And that's the beauty of it. That's exactly that's where I would like to educate people and inform them if they were for the medical aspect. People don't realize that the terpene levels and the cannabinoids levels change between cultivar to cultivar. So when you hear somebody says, "Well, I like," and I don't want to talk about him, he's not here, but like I can't smoke pot because it just that might be that collection of cannabinoids that is not conducive to your chemical bodies, your structure. So we could easily change that. Just try a different strain. Try, and that's just like Charlotte's Web. I tried so hard to get a hold of Charlotte's Web, but it's now been trademarked and copywritten, and because that's the strain that was proven.
Oh, it's a strain. I'm like, I have a copy on VHS.
No, that's the cultivar. I should say cultivar.
Okay, I've never heard of Charlotte's Web strain.
Charlotte's Web was the first cultivar that publicly made the news about reducing epilepsy in children, and because they purposely bred that for those cannabinoids for Charlotte. Her name was Charlotte, the girl.
Oh. And by the way, this is an entertainment channel. We're not a medical channel. We don't know anything.
Please,
don't
no
pay
advice.
attention. We're just
No
chatting and
medical
having
advice.
fun up here.
I have no medical advice to give. Absolutely none. I am not associated with any. This is strictly from for personal knowledge. But
I've always had a problem smoking weed. It makes me more like anxious. I know it's supposed to chill you out, but it might be.
And
like
what I'm saying is there is a strain for you if that's what you want. If you wanted to pursue that, as a medical option, then we could go down that path and find a strain or a cultivar, I should say, a cultivar that works with you with your body's chemicals.
Yeah.
And gives you that some people get anxious, some people get paranoid, some people get mellow. That's the beauty of this plant. That's why nature is the best healer. And this plant gives us the opportunity to tailor a medication to suit everybody.
Yeah.
And it provides recreation. I don't have a problem with the recreational aspect, but like I said, as long as the recreation is a positive one and get you out, get you motivated, get you dancing, get you whatever it is, then recreation is actually a medical. But if you're gonna sit in the house and smoke and play video games and eat Cheetos, now it's become an addiction. Now it's a problem. Now it's no longer medical. And I just wish people could understand that. I'm sorry. I'm down. I'm off my soapbox.
No, that's right. Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, there's even for myself, I've noticed that there are different, and the beauty of it is it's like everything else. 32 flavors. There's something for everybody, and as far as administering it, you don't have to smoke it. There are many different ways it can be administered. There's many different, and I'm not going to get into all that because I apologize, Jeff. You're absolutely right. This is not a medical.
That's just for you. Whatsoever. That's just to cover my ass on YouTube. If we were all sitting at someone's house, I wouldn't even care.
No, I understand.
I just got to keep my channel, or try to.
But yeah, that's what I've been. Personally, that's what I've been doing for the last X amount. Since 2011.
Right. But how do you know? How do you find out what works for a certain individual?
Well, that's the recreational part because it becomes a trial and error. I mean, you can start from a certain point because there are cultivars that we already know the terpene profiles on them. I mean, it's down to the scientific point where we can identify the individual cannabinoids. You know what I'm saying? The pionol, the lemonol, all the different things that make up that plant. And just by simple breeding alone can promote one type of cannabinoid, the one that you're looking for. So that's all it is. It's a matter of finding a strain to start with. And then ideally over a period of even 2 years, you could breed a strain that would be specific to your chemical makeup in your body, what you feel, how it makes you feel the best.
They kind of already do that with the different strains.
Exactly. But so when I hear somebody come in and say right away, I can't smoke weed, it makes me do this. Well, that's just the weed you happen to smoke at that time. Don't throw all of it into the same bag. No pun intended.
I'm always surprised by how many like lifelong or hardcore weed smokers don't even know that there's indica and sativa. Like there's two because I'll ask weed smokers all the time. Oh, indica or sativa? They'll be like, "What's that, man?" And there's two different. Oh no, it's just weed. It's just weed. So just the idea that there's two strains, I think some people are not aware of. So I think a lot of people do think of it as just one plant. It's just weed.
And Moose can back me up on this. First of all, cannabis sativa are just classifications that have been, there is no true.
Oh, so those are like artificial distinctions,
right? And at a time back in the day.
Thank you, Shameless. I'm going to look at my sticker now.
When they were using land races are the foundation.
It's a rainbow unicorn. Sorry, that's oh my God, hang on, that's a special thank you. She did Rainbow Unicorn. Let's give her another song. Oh, y'all can keep going. I'm gonna celebrate in the background.
No, but originally when they sativa was, they were regional. So if a sativa came from a warmer region, more of tropical. So it was a different type of plant itself. It was bigger. It was different. And the indicas came from colder, the Himalayas, the India. So that was a different strain altogether. But now with the intense breeding and the crossbreeding, cannabis sativa has become just a description, a generalized description of what you can expect. It's almost like, well, everybody kind of feels this way.
The species like cannabis, let me see. Yeah, it's not an actual species.
Cannabis sativa is the actual species. They're
What's
all
indica?
cannabis sativa.
So is one like an upper and a downer? I've heard that is it sativa that makes you want to do things, and it's the other one that kind of makes you want to.
Well, like I said, nowadays
it's different now because like what he's saying is there used to be the sativa and the indica, and they used to like be true to what they were. Now everything's so bastardized that you can go into the collective and you can get a sativa that makes you sleepy because it's not a true sativa. It's
there's no
not a true
guarantee,
indica.
right? Exactly, and that is what I'm referring to when people say, "Well, I tried this, and they told me it was going to do this, and it did this instead." Okay, fine. That's not on them. That's not on the strain. That's not on the weed. That's
But
on
I don't think a
your.
lot of people know that. I think
No,
they
I
just think
understand.
it's weed, and if they did weed, that's what it did to them.
Absolutely, it's an education thing. Absolutely, and this is like I said, I have approached this from a completely different perspective. So that's why I have this now. I don't even want to say this knowledge. It's just that's why I have this information is because like I approached it from a completely different angle. And so basically what I'm saying is when you go into a dispensary, you go into a collective and you say, I want a sativa, there's no guarantee you're going to get something that is going to keep you uplifted and keep you activated. That's just a generalized terminology.
I got one the other day that knocked me on the. I can't even use it. Like I want to bring it back and tell them this. This is an indica. Why did you pass this off as a sativa? I can't even use it.
That's exactly what we're saying. Like it's terrible, man. Uh, and the thing is, the whole industry when I was in it was like a total sham. We'd have the same strain. It'd be someone is feeding that hard. We'd have like six pounds of Blue Dream. So what do? You call it Blue Dragon. You call it like something else.
Oh,
Blue this, blue that,
I should
Blue
have known.
Lotus, Blue Tiger.
Hey,
You
Moose,
know,
did you hear about the new remediation processes that have been approved by the FDA to remediate mold and pests in cannabis now?
oh man, I read a little bit into that.
All you gotta do is run it through a black light. All you gotta do is run it through a black light, and that qualifies as being. And then you say, well, then there's no more mold on it, and they can still sell it. That's how shady these dispensaries are.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And there's like 29 different concentrate makers in California that have been found to have all kinds of extra pesticides and all kinds of stuff that they don't test for. It was independently tested. I'll put the article in the back.
Yeah, that's why I am so against the legalization. I mean, we are almost better off if the government would just turn its back and look the other way. Because once you open up legalization, that's a game. Then it gives the big boys all the power in the world to make rules, make laws, do change.
Well, so far it's being done. Like the states are doing that, but they do that for everything. That's what a state is.
Yeah, well, in my state, if you're a medical patient, you can only have, I believe, it's four plants. They
don't even let you grow here at all.
Yeah.
When they legalized it, they took out the growing. They let medical patients grow at one point, and they got rid of all of that. And people, you could still get busted for growing it here. You have to buy it at the stores.
I grow up to 4 plants, and I'm not as out in the wilderness as you are,
But here's the kicker with the way the laws are set up in this state. If you are a medical patient and you do want to cultivate on your own, You have to. The only way to gain legal seeds and product is through the same dispensaries. So if I'm trying to avoid, the dispensary, their product, I'm not allowed to go out and seek outside the state seeds or anything from anywhere else. I have to have the receipt from the dispensary that I bought the seeds from the dispensary when they come and check. That's asinine. I should be
Here,
able to purchase seeds from anywhere but because it's limited to states by state, that would be considered interstate transport
yeah,
of blah blah blah.
that's just the state of things now. I mean, it wasn't legal at all, so we're transitioning to legality in a lot of places, and that's just this current state of things. I know there's marijuana advocates everywhere trying to continue to push it forward.
Yeah, it's a
And
hard.
correction, it looks like Washington State has a system where you can get a medical authorization that lets you grow a little bit for personal use, but outside of that, ordinary citizens are not allowed to grow here. Hey,
and
Leggy. Oh,
and my
wow, thank you.
philosophy is it should be in everybody's garden. Everybody should have a plant in their garden. Oh, marijuana.
Here's a link Moose just shared. Um, Let me look it up. I've heard different places. I know there's Thai strains. There's South American
Afghan.
strains. I think there's
They
some
came
Hawaiian
from
strains.
Afghanistan. Like I said, the
Yeah,
indicas mostly come from Afghanistan, the colder, higher climates, and the sativas would come from the warmer
history of
Mexico.
cannabis.
Hey,
Man, they were
apparently,
using it. They trace it back to possibly even the prehistoric days. Oh,
uh,
maybe not for drug use. Maybe rope and fiber and stuff. Oh, and medicine. No, they do say
yeah,
psychoactive properties for religious and recreational use.
Jeff, they found seeds in the
Did you
pyramids.
say recreational lube? Sorry,
Use.
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that was my autistic accent. Um,
But they found remnants of hemp in the Egyptian tombs.
they find all these ancient civilizations. They found cannabis.
Yep.
Assyria, Iran,
Hey, listen, my wife just
Korea,
walked in.
Japan.
I'm gonna cut out for a minute.
It's hard to say. It seems like the further back they go, they find it in all these cultures. There's an archaeological site in the Oki Islands near Japan that contain um, cannabis components called achenes from about 8,000 BC. So it could potentially go back to the prehistoric days. We're not even like the planets. Oh, you mean that's the human use of it? Let me see where the plant itself maybe came from. Is it are y'all talking? I can't hear anything. Yikes.
Yeah, I'm
Is
gonna have to
some
cut out, Jeff. My wife she surprised me come
oh
home from work early with groceries, so I'm gonna have to go do that.
oh okay, I see. Just everything
All
went
right, cool.
quiet.
Hey, good
Um
talking with you guys. I'm out of here. I'll come back later if I can.
you too.
Cheers.
Thanks. Good
Bye.
seeing you.
Actually, I'm going to have to get going as well. Thanks, Jeff. Nice to meet you, Moose.
Oh,
You
Cheers,
come
too,
everyone.
on.
Wahart.
Nice to meet you too. I'm
Cheers.
cooking dinner right now.
You
Cheers. I'll see you later.
what?
Bye.
I'm cooking dinner.
Take care, Wahart. Okay. You want to wrap it up for a little bit? I can come back later.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for your time, energy, and attention.
Here, hang on, let me I don't know if that's the best photo for this, but use your imaginations, folks.
We appreciate all that you've done for us here. The super chats, super stickers, super dickers, and super dockers.
It's super liquors and
And
memberships too.
thank you for joining the membership club. You're special now. Even if they don't like you, I don't care what they say about you. You're welcome
We'll
here.
still pretend to like you.
We'll still pretend to like you. For that $2.99, I will pretend to like you. I'll let you in the church. I'll let you play with the Bibles. Let you sit on the benches. But afterwards, if you don't pay me another $2.99, I'm gonna need you to spray those down, wipe them off, put a little elbow grease in there. Thank y'all. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Thanks a lot, Moose. All right, I think this will be the little break for today, and then I'll do some more. Some point, I'm gonna go run errands and stuff, and be back sometime tonight. Who knows when? It was fun. This is good. I liked it. Thank you. And I was actually thinking about that other stream. All we did was talk about panel drama and weed, and so maybe I'll just leave it hidden or something. Anyway, I'll clip that porn bomb out and get it up at some point. But yeah, you too, Cult. Yeah, like as a hobby, as gardening, like I know there's a whole like hobby element to growing marijuana. I don't think people should be deprived of that just because there's a recreational system. But then again, there's not going to be a recreational system if everybody can just grow it. So I don't think it's not a conspiracy. I don't think they were like figuring out how they can control the populace or anything. I just think they're trying to balance how do we let the recreational, like the businessmen, make a profit. So I do think they're artificially controlling the supply. That I do. Take care, Paul. Good to see you. I think by prohibiting ordinary non-medical people from being able to grow it as a hobby, they are giving the recreational shops an edge. So yeah, I think there is a point to be made there. Because we can still grow apples and tomatoes and corn and all. We can grow gardens, can't we? We're not forced to shop at the grocery store. But in Washington State, you are forced to buy your weed from the recreational stores. You cannot grow it in your garden unless you go through this special medical system and get this authorization. But not everyone gets that. So it's gate kept. All right. Well, good conversations today, and we'll do more of them later. Do something fun for yourself, or if you're a sadomasochist, don't, I guess. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Take care.